Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to answer software testing interview question 351. That is, what is dependency testing? Let me answer. So what is dependency testing? Before I explain what exactly is dependency testing, first let me read this particular dependency testing statement for you. Okay, dependency testing is performed to examine the application's requirements, initial states, configuration of an existing software to find the defects or imperfections that are stopping the application from reaching the desired functionality. You see, all applications, okay? So there are many applications in the market. Some applications, in order for them to work, they need to be dependent on some initial configurations. For example, if you take Eclipse IDE, okay? So if you have to use Eclipse IDE, first you have to install and configure Java in your machine, okay? Like that. So some initial configurations need to be done for some software, okay? Some software require some initial configurations or initial states or some initial things need to be done before using the software. Some server need to be launched, whatever it may be, guys. Okay, as part of dependency testing, okay, here we are examining or checking or testing the initial states or the things that are required for the application to reach its desired functionality or functioning. For an application to function, there may be some prerequisites, guys, like some application requirements need to be there, initial states should be there, some configurations, all these prerequisites. If you are testing or examining or checking, that process is called as dependency testing. Okay, for the application to reach the desired state or okay desired usage, okay, some configurations need to be done beforehand. That configurations, if you are checking or testing or okay examining, that is called as dependency testing in simple words again. Okay, so hope guys you understood what is dependency testing in this session. So that's all for this session. The next session I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to answer software testing interview question 352. That is, what is domain testing? Let me answer. So what is domain testing? Domain testing is performed on the applications with a minimum selected number of inputs for testing the output of the system and for also verifying that the application doesn't accept any invalid inputs. What does it mean? You see, there is an application. Okay, if you are very good at domain knowledge of the application, okay, if it is a banking application, let's say, and you have very good domain knowledge skills, so what you can do with the domain knowledge, you can select minimum number of inputs. Okay, you see, unlike the other person who doesn't have proper domain knowledge of the application, okay, since you are an expert in the domain of banking domain of the application, for example, so what you can do is, okay, for testing that application, okay, instead of selecting a huge list of inputs, you are selecting minimum number of important inputs and testing the system to see if it is working fine or not, if it is giving a proper output or not. And also for invalid inputs, whether the application is giving proper errors or not. Okay. So that kind of testing to find the defects with valid inputs, valid output should come. Invalid inputs, okay, the application should act properly with proper warning messages and all. That kind of testing, which is dealt with the type of inputs, minimum number of selected inputs for getting the proper outputs, that may be valid inputs or invalid inputs, is known as domain testing, guys. The people who are good at domain knowledge of that particular application can do this process very well. Okay, that's why the name has come it as given to it as domain testing. Okay, where minimum number of selected inputs are selected for testing the application. Okay, these inputs can be valid or invalid. For valid inputs, valid input, valid output should come. For invalid inputs, proper application should respond properly in proper warning messages or error messages. Okay, so hope guys you understood what is domain testing in this session. So that's all for this session. The next session I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all. Welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 353. That is, what is data warehouse testing? Let me answer. So what is data warehouse testing? Data warehouse testing is also known as ETL testing. In one of the previous sessions of this series, I already covered and explained what exactly is ETL testing. Let's recall it again. Okay. So what is this ETL testing, which is also known as data warehouse testing? In ETL testing, ETL stands for extract, transform, load. Okay. Okay, ETL, that is extract, transform, load, is used in data warehouse projects for performing first extracting the data from the different data source. Okay, from a different data source, you are extracting the data first. E stands for extracting the data from a different data source. And after that, you will transform the data into the destination requirement. According to the destination where you have to load the data. Okay, you have to extract the data from one place and load the data into another data. Okay, data thing. So in between, transforming is there. We have to convert this data from that system format into this system format. Okay, that transforming or applying calculations on the extracted data as per the destination requirement is called as transforming. Okay, and finally, loading. Last one is loading. Loads the transformed data into a data warehouse. Okay, from a different source, you are converting the data according to the required data destination requirement data warehouse and loading that into the data warehouse. Okay, and that is called as ETL. Okay, and testing this process whether the data is getting extracted properly, transformed properly, and loaded into the destination data. Okay, destination thing properly, data warehouse properly or not is known as ETL testing. Okay, in simple words, testing whether the data is properly extracted, transformed, and loaded into the destination data warehouse is known as ETL testing, which is also known as data warehouse testing. So hope guys you understood what exactly is data warehouse testing in this session, which is also known as ETL testing. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye-bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 354. That is, what is data flow testing? Let me answer. What is data flow testing? Data flow testing falls under the white box testing category, which is performed by developers. Here, the developers will test the paths in the programs using the status of the variables. Okay, how the developers are going to perform data flow testing? They are going to test the developers are going to test the paths in the program. Okay, in the code, they are going to test the paths using the status of the variables. The paths are defined using the status of the variables. Okay, that is, the developers will focus on the path through which variables receive the data, how the data is flowing. As the name speaks, data flow testing, how the data is flowing through the program. That will become the path for testing the program for the developers. Okay, focus on the path through which variables receive the data and how the variables are going to use the data later, like how the data is modified and all those stuff. Okay, how the data is passed to elsewhere else. Okay, so based on the flow of the data in the code, okay, developers will create the test according to the paths in the program through which the data is flowing via variables. Okay, and how the variables are receiving the data, how the variables are using the data, and they will perform the testing. Okay, they will perform the testing on the code, and this is called as data flow testing. So hope guys you understood what is data flow testing in this session. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 355. That is, what is documentation testing? Let me answer. So what is documentation testing? Documentation testing is performed to test the documented artifacts that are created before, during, and after the testing of the application. Okay, let's say you are a software tester and you generally test the application, right? So, so during this process of testing the application, we tend to create a lot of documents. Some documents will be created way before the testing starts. Some documents will be created while you test the application. Some documents will be created like kind of reports after testing, like, right? There are some reports which we create after testing the application. So different type of artifacts. Artifacts are nothing but different type of documents that are involved during the testing process, before testing starts, during the testing, and after the testing. Okay, some examples of the documented artifacts are test plan, test cases, BRS document, traceability matrix, design screens. It can be anything, guys. Test results reports. Okay, it can be anything. These artifacts, if you are testing these artifacts, okay, so here you are not testing the application. As part of documentation testing, you are not testing the application, you are testing the documented artifacts that are created before, during, and after testing of the application. Okay, you are testing the test plan. Okay, to see, you are checking the test plan, you are examining the test plan, you are testing the test plan. You're examining the test cases, you're examining the BRS document in the form of testing. You're checking whether it is correct or not. Are there any problems in the test plan? Are there any problems in the test cases? This kind of checking or testing or examining, if you're doing on this kind of documented artifacts that are created before, during, and after the testing, that is called as documentation testing. So hope guys you understood what is documentation testing in this session. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye-bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 356. That is, what is deployment testing? Let me answer. So what is deployment testing? Before I explain what exactly is deployment testing, let me first read this statement for you. Okay? Testing the application before, during, and after its deployment to avoid any production issues is known as deployment testing. That means, you see, as as a project team, the developers will be developing the software and the testing team will be testing the software, and there will be some day coming where the development will be completed and developers will be fixing all the defects that are reported by the software testers, and finally a day will come where they will decide to release the software into the market. Okay, they want to make the application live in the market, okay, so that the real end users or customers will start using the application. So when that situation comes, when the application looks very stable and right, quality is very good and the decisions are being made to release that into the market, at that point of time, before the software is released into the market, double checking, we generally double check the things, even though we know that the application is stable and the quality is very good, still just before, okay, like just before you launch the rocket, okay, into the sky, what you will do, you will do double checking, right? So you will check everything is fine or not, then only you will launch the rocket, right? Same thing here also, before releasing the software into the market, a testing will be done. Okay, so that is before deploying the software into the live environment, production environment, so that this will become live and will be accessible to the all the end users or customers, real users in the around the globe. And during, guys, okay, while it is getting live, okay, and also we'll perform testing while it is getting live, while the rocket is going off into the sky, also we are testing while it's getting launched also, okay, not just before launching, while getting launched also, just before you hit the start button, okay. So while the process is taking care, then also you are testing, okay, so that at least you can avoid some kind of bigger problems, right? So you can make it crash or somewhere, okay, so if it is going to make very big issues in the sky and all the stuff, okay, during and also after, guys, after the rocket is released into the sky also, okay, we have to perform testing to see whether the launching happened properly or not, whether that is a successful mission or right, failure mission, like that. Here also same thing, guys, whether the software which got made live, okay, during before it was made live, and while it is made while it is in the process of getting live, and also after it got live, now the users, end users and customers are using, visitors are coming to the website and they are making some orders on the website and all those things are happening, then also you are doing the testing, guys, okay, to see whether the this particular deployment of the code happened very well. Are there any issues which got skipped from this testing process, or due to any errors, due to any mistakes done during the deployment? Are there any side effects in the production environment? While the users are using, the application should look very stable and quality should be good. Okay, it should not go to any issues. So it is our responsibility as software testers to test during, before, during, and after the software gets deployed into the market, and this testing is called as deployment testing. Okay, this testing is known as deployment testing. So hope guys you understood what is deployment testing in this session. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 357. That is, what is desk checking? Let me answer. So what is desk checking? Desk checking is generally performed by developers. Okay. So developers are going to perform the desk checking where they will manually test whether the underlying algorithm of the program in a line by line basis with an intention of identifying the bugs in the application. Okay. In the application code, okay, the developers will check line by line, okay, the algorithm of the program, whatever the developers have written for building the software, right? That particular algorithm of the program will be checked or tested line by line basis with an intention of identifying the defects in the program. And this process is done by developers and is known as desk checking. So hope guys you understood what is desk checking. Okay, it's performed by developers in a manual way, guys, and where underlying algorithm of the program is checked or tested in a line by line basis with an intention of identifying the defects in the code. Okay, so that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 358. That is, what is error handling testing? Let me answer. So what is error handling testing? Error handling testing is performed on the application to check whether the application is capable of handling the probable errors. Okay, as you can understand, what is error handling testing from the statement itself, right? I don't have to explicitly explain you. Okay, it's performed on the application. Whatever the application that you are testing, okay, error handling testing is also performed on that application to see or check whether the application is capable of handling the probable errors. How the application is handling the errors if you are checking or testing. That is called as error handling testing. In a proper way, the application should be able to handle the errors. Okay. When the user gives some invalid input, okay. So application should give you a proper error message, warning message or some error message based on the situations and circumstances. Okay, this kind of error handling testing is not just done by software testers but also done by the developers, guys, at the code level also. Okay, whether the code is capable enough in handling the invalid inputs or not. Okay, developers have to check that. Okay, that is also part of the error handling testing. Testers also, from using the visual graphical user interface of the software, testers will try to input some invalid inputs into the software and see whether the application is giving. When you enter invalid email address, is application giving a proper warning message saying that this is invalid email address or not? Okay, if you're trying to create a duplicate account having the same email address, are you getting a proper error message or not? You see, some situations you will get warning messages, some situations you will get error messages. Okay, so all these kind of situations need to be handled by the application. Application is good only when it can handle the errors. If just because the user is inputting some invalid inputs or a user is using the application in a way that generally people don't use, such kind of circumstances will come when the application may not be able to react properly and may go into some errors and may fail there. Okay, so you will get error pages and all. For example, instead of getting a proper error message, if you are getting an error page, that's not a good thing, right? So the application is whether the application is able to, okay, is able to handle the probable errors and by giving proper things or not. Okay, in a proper way or not. Okay, is application capable of handling the probable errors, possible errors in the application while the user is using the application or something is known as error handling testing. Okay, so so for that, developers have to implement error handling mechanism, guys. Okay. So for example, if I'm entering some invalid email address, okay, how the error will come, right? Definitely, the it should be handled. Okay. So it should not, application should not take such kind of invalid inputs and should give a proper warning message. Okay. So exception handling mechanism should be implemented so that the application program will not stop from running. Okay. So all those stuff like error handling mechanism, how the error has to be handled, whether warning message has to be displayed or whether error has to be displayed, and for different type of invalid inputs, exception handling mechanism need to be implemented. For example, guys, there is a calculator and you are dividing a number by zero. What the calculator has to do? If there is a calculator software and if you are trying to divide a number by zero, what the calculator software should do? It should give a proper error message. That is possible only if you implement exception handling. Okay, so developers and testers are required for performing exception handling because at the code level also error handling mechanism has to be implemented. Extra code has to be written inside the existing program of the application to handle these errors and to create the exception handling mechanism to handle the inputs, invalid inputs from the users. Okay, so here the main intention of the exception handling testing is these are the three activities generally done by the developers and testers, guys. First, expect. Okay, expect where exactly the application may not be able to handle the probable errors. Okay, for example, when you go to a form and see an email address field, you will immediately expect that if I give invalid input like invalid email address with invalid syntax of the email, whether the application is able to handle it or not. Okay, give a proper error message to me or not, or proper warning message or not. Like that, we have to expect it. And after that, we have to try that out. Okay, at the code level or at the UI level, we have to find it out. Developers will do that at the code level. Testers will do at the UI or graphical user interface level, and we have to find the problem. Once the problem is found, the problem has to be fixed, right? So developers have to fix the problem. Okay, they have to implement either error handling mechanism or exception handling to overcome that invalid inputs. So hope guys you understood what is error handling testing in this session. Testing whether the application is capable enough of handling the probable errors is known as error handling testing in simple terms. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all. Welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 359. That is, what is fault injection testing? Let me answer. So what is fault injection testing? Fault injection testing is performed by intentionally introducing the faults to check whether the application can withstand and recover from error conditions. Okay, so you can clearly understand from this statement, right? So you are injecting the faults intentionally into the application, okay, to see whether the application can withstand and recover from the error conditions. Okay, you'll create such kind of error conditions in the application to check how the application is reacting to it. Okay, whether the application is withstanding that error conditions and able to handle the error conditions, okay, or not. That is called as fault injection testing, guys. So we can categorize this fault injection testing into compile time and run time. Compile time means while the application code is not running, okay. So it's like like before running the application, okay. So while the application is not running, that is compile time. While the application is running, that is called as runtime, okay. So during compile time, what we do is as software testers, we will try to inject some code, okay. Some code, we'll try to inject some code, faulty code. A proper code will be there that we'll try to insert some faults into that, okay, some mistakes into that properly working code to see how the application is reacting, okay, to see how the application is withstanding or not, okay. So such kind of things, the future problems or error conditions that may occur, right, that we can find out by introducing faults intentionally, right. uh, by getting the different type of faulty outputs, we can know how the application can withstand and recover from the error conditions which may occur in the future, okay. So here the source code is altered a bit. Okay, the source code is altered in such a way that faults will be introduced, mistakes will be introduced into the well-running programs or code. Okay, before the application is running in real time. Okay, before the application is being used, the source code is altered and tested at the code level, that is compile time. Coming to the runtime, guys. Okay, in runtime also, while the application is running, we are introducing the faults into the code in the background. Okay, while the application is running, while you are using the application, using the graphical user interface or whatever it is, you are in the background modifying the code, okay, modifying the source code. And this can be done on time basis, okay. So based on time means a particular time, the source code will be mutated or altered, okay. The faulty code will be introduced while the application is running based on a particular time, okay. Interruption based means event based case, okay. So a particular action is happening. At that time, you want to interrupt that action from happening, okay. You will try to introduce the faulty code into the application. Let's say you're trying to add a user or something, and you will try to introduce faulty code while the application is running into that section of the code, and see how the application is withstanding and recovering from the error conditions, okay. And we can know how what are the future outputs and outcomes, okay. By introducing some faults, we can improvise our code, guys, okay. The software code can be improvised to by checking how the application is withstanding and recovering based on the outcomes and all. We can improvise the application, okay. By knowing the failures, we can make our program more better, okay, of the application more better. And this is called as fault injection testing where the code will be mutated, guys, either during the compile time or while the application is running, that is runtime. Okay. So this is all about the fault injection testing. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all. Welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 360. That is, what is formal verification testing? Let me answer. So what is formal verification testing? So here in formal verification testing, we use mathematical techniques. Okay. We use some mathematical techniques to check whether the algorithm of the application is built according to the required specifications or not. Okay. Whether the application is built according to the required specifications, the algorithm underlying this application code is built according to the requirement specifications or not. We are going to check using what? Mathematical techniques. Mathematical techniques are checked against the algorithm of the application which is built according to the client given requirement specifications. That is called as formal verification testing. So hope guys you understood what is formal verification testing, where mathematical techniques are used to check whether the algorithm of the application is built according to the requirement specifications. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello. Welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 361. That is, what is verification testing? Let me answer. So what is verification testing? Verification testing checks whether we are building the right system, that is correct system or not. Okay. So whatever the application that the developers are developing, are they building the right system or not? Is verification testing. Let me explain you more. Okay. For example, if the client is asking for, okay, the client is asking for this one, and if the developers have developed this particular software, is it a correct thing? All right. The client is asking for a circle. Developers also have to deliver the circle only. Testing performed to check whether, okay, testing performed to check whether we are building the correct system or not. The circle has to be developed, circle only has to be developed, square should not be developed. Okay, that testing is called as verification testing. Okay, so when we go down, guys, you will actually understand what exactly is verification testing. Okay, this is only one direction of verification testing where I have explained. So different points I have collected here. Okay, in this map, using which you will understand verification testing completely. Okay, so before actually explaining about verification testing, let me take a real world example so that you can understand this verification testing easily. Okay, what is that real world example? Let's say, guys, you want to travel from one location to another location. Okay, you stay here and you want to meet one person who is staying somewhere else. Okay, and generally what is that thing, you don't know this destination. Okay, you don't know the destination point, and you are here and you have to reach this destination to meet this person, but you don't know the route. Okay, whatever the route is required, right, generally to reach this particular destination, that route you don't know. Okay, what you will do, guys, in that case, everyone of us will use Google Maps, right? Nowadays Google Maps is there. Okay, you don't need to know the exact address. Okay, simply, okay, before you start from this starting point, you will open your mobile phone. In that mobile phone, you will open the Google Maps. Okay, you'll open the Google Maps application. You'll open the Google Maps application and type the source and destination locations. And what the Google Maps will do? Google Maps will give you the directions. Okay, Google Maps will give you, okay, this is the starting point, this is the ending point, and this is the route you have to take, like that it will show, right? This is what will happen. But have you started your journey yet? No, you have not started your journey, right? You are still at the source point only, source location only. Destination location, you have not went there. You just searched in Google Maps, that's it. Okay, you are not using the Google Maps here. You just searched in the Google Maps and you got this, okay, and you got this map location. Okay, so now before you start your journey, before you started your journey, you are checking whether whatever the direction or whatever the map that this Google Maps is, whatever the, you see, path that this Google Maps app is suggesting you, is it correct or not? You are checking. Okay, before you started only you are checking. Why? Is it the correct? Okay, correct way or not? Okay, to reach the destination, is it the correct path or not? Okay, so you just zoom in, zoom out, and you check it, right? But you have not started your carriage. Okay, you have not started using this map. You just searched your source and destination, and you are checking, examining, or checking whether whatever the route suggested by Google Maps, is it correct or not? You are checking. Here you are verifying the route. Here you are verifying the route. You are not going through the route. You are not using the route, but you are verifying the correctness of the route. This is called as verification. This is called as verification, guys. So now, hope guys you understood. You have not started the route, not started using the route, but you just are checking the correctness of the route in your mobile phone before you started from your source location. This is called as verification, guys. With this, you should get idea what is verification testing before you started developing the software itself. Okay, I mean before you started using the software. Okay, before not developing, before you started using the software, you are checking whether, okay, before you started developing or using or testing the software, uh, you are just checking whether the correct software is getting developed or not. Okay, correct software is being built or not, is known as verification testing. So real world example you understood, right? You are checking the correctness, but you are not using it. Okay, so performed when the software is not yet developed by developers. At this point of stage, the software is not runnable. The code may be there, but it won't run. Okay, we don't test by running the code. Okay, we don't use it. We don't use the software, guys. Not to use the software, we have to build the code and run the code, right? Build the code and run the code. Okay, that running part is not there. Okay, performed when the software is not yet developed by developers. We cannot use the software at that particular state where you are performing verification testing. Okay, so not always done by the tester, guys. Even developers also will do the verification testing. I'll tell you why. Okay, performed on different type of documents. Verification testing is performed on different type of documents like requirements BRS document. You are testing the BRS document. You are testing whether the requirements provided by the business analyst in the BRS document are correct or not, or the requirements provided in the user stories are correct or not. That is called as verification testing. Hope you are able to understand. Here you are not using the software. Okay, you are just checking whether whatever the things that you are going to use for developing, testing the software, right? Those things are correct or not. The basic pillars are correct or not. On the top of these documents only, the software will be built and will be ready, right? But if there are any mistakes in the requirement document, what will happen? A wrong software will be developed. So here, to get the correct software to be developed, to get the right system or correct system to be developed or built, what we have to do? We have to make sure that the requirement documents, BRS documents, whatever that is mentioned in the BRS document is correct or not. Whatever that is mentioned in the design documents is correct or not. You see, requirements, design documents, sometimes developers and testers both have to involve. Design documents, developers have to involve. Test plans, testers have to see whether they have created a proper correct test plan according to the things or not. They have to test whether the test plan created is correct or not. Test cases written by the testers. Okay, here we are not executing the test case. We are testing the test cases that we have written. We are checking whether the test cases written by the software testers are correct or not. Okay, otherwise testers will test in a wrong way, right, and report wrong defects. So if these things are are done in a wrong way, what will happen? Wrong system will be developed, and okay, wrongly it will be tested, and you will finally get another system. Okay, the code written by developers is right or not. Okay, we are not running the code here. We are checking the code. We are testing the code. Okay, traceability matrix created is correct or not, and many more, guys. Okay, so here we are testing the document. We are not testing the software here. Okay, the documents that we are generally going to use for building the software and you for building it right, that documents we are testing the correctness of these documents. Okay, that is called as verification testing. Okay, so testing done in the form of how this kind of documents will be tested. Then here we are not testing the software, we are testing the documents. How the documents will be tested? With the form of static analysis. You see, the developers will perform static analysis. There are some tools in the market, guys. Nowadays you don't have to use don't have to do manually. There will be static analysis tools like SonarQube and all, where this complete code will be passed to the tool, and the tool will check the code. whether the syntax is correct or not, whether proper best practices are followed while writing the code, like that. Okay, such kind of testing is here. We are not running the code, we are checking the code line by line. Okay, the tool is checking the code line by line and give a report. Based on that, developers have to modify the code. Reviews are also there. Okay, so we can check this requirement document is correct or not using different type of reviews like walkthroughs, informal reviews, which are inspections, formal reviews. So we can check whether the code written by the developers is correct or not using code reviews. Code reviews will be done by senior people. Okay, junior people code will be reviewed by the seniors. Like that, pair programming. Two developers will be reviewing each other's code while one is writing, other one is reviewing. Technical reviews, where a technical expert will be reviewing the code. Like that, different type of reviews are there. Okay, the, this how the verification testing is performed, guys. Okay, so all these kind of documents are tested using this kind of techniques, static analysis, static testing techniques like static analysis and reviews, different type of reviews using which we test this. And this testing or checking is known as verification testing. And this verification falls into static testing category. Okay, because why verification testing is falling into static testing category? Here the software is not available, guys. We are not running the code anywhere. Okay, we are just checking the documents. For checking the documents, for checking the code which is not running. Okay, which is not running. uh, okay, so for checking the code which is not running, for checking the documents, just documents, do you need to run the software? No, right? Okay, the code is there but it is not running. That code you are checking. That's why it's falling into static testing category. When you are testing and the code of the application is not running, that the testing is nothing but static testing. Verification testing also does the same. It verifies the correctness of the, okay, system that is being built. Okay, so before you start developing the software, okay, before you start using I mean, creating the software, you are checking everything is correct or not. Okay, if these things are correct, the software that is being built also will become correct. Okay, that testing is called as verification testing. And using the real world example, I think you are clear now. So before you start your journey, you are checking your route map suggested by the Google Maps to see whether the correct Google Maps is suggested or not. By checking that, you will start. After checking the suggested Google Map, you will start your journey. Till then, you will not start your journey, right? If you feel that whatever the Google Maps suggested route is not correct, you will not use a Google, and you will try another way of reaching your destination to Google Maps. And once you get the correct path, correct route only, then you will start your journey in your car. Okay, and this is called as verification testing, where you don't have to run the code or run the software to perform testing. Okay, without running the code, without running the software. Okay, uh, hence verification testing falls into static testing category, where you don't have to run the code. So hope guys you understood what is verification testing. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 362. That is, what is validation testing? Let me answer. So what is validation testing? Validation checks whether we are building the system right or not. Okay. Here, the concern is not about whether the correct system is built. It's all about whether we are building the system right, whether system that is built is working or not. If we have built a login functionality, whether login functionality is working or not, whether the login functionality is correctly developed or built is not the purpose of the validation testing. The purpose of the validation testing is to check whether the developed functionality is working or not. Okay, correctness is part of verification testing. In the previous session, I explained, in the previous session of this same series, I explained what is verification testing. The purpose of the verification testing was to check whether we are building the correct system. Okay, according to the requirements given, correct requirements are there or not, all those things we were checking there. In validation testing, it's all about working out the functionality, whether the functionality is working or not, whether the developed functionality is really working or not. You see, some developer has developed the login functionality. When you click on login button, nothing is happening. When you click on the login button after giving the username and password, nothing is happening. That means functionality is not working. That comes under validation testing. Okay, correctly developed or not is verification testing. Validation testing means whether it is working or not, developed functionality is working or not is validation testing. So real world example. Okay, in case of verification testing also, I have taken the same real world example. Let me continue the same real world example with validation testing also. For example, guys, okay, this is your destination, this is your home, let's say, and you need to travel to another location. Okay, you want to meet one person and you want to travel to another location. So you start from the source location, and via this route you have to reach this destination location. Okay, this is what is the purpose. What we generally do, guys, to go from source destination to destination, source to destination location. So nowadays, everyone, because we don't know what is exact route, so we generally use Google Maps. Everyone know that we generally use Google Maps. What we do in the Google Maps, we open the Google Maps in our mobile phone. Okay, in our mobile phone, we'll open the Google Maps and we'll provide the source location and destination location, and the Google Maps will give you the location in advance. Okay, before you started your journey itself, Google Maps is giving you this location. Okay, the route map it is giving. But here, one type of checking is whether this suggested route map given by Google Maps is correct or not. That is verification. Okay, you have not started traveling from this location to this location via car. Okay, car has not started from the source location to destination location. Before you started itself, you searched in the Google Maps and Google Maps have suggested you a route map, and checking whether that suggested route map is correct or not is verification in real world example. Okay, then what is validation? So if you follow this route map, you start your car here. Let's say this is your car and you started your car here, and the car has started from here and it's moving like this. Okay, it's using the Google map, it is following, and by following this route map, left, right, and all, whether the car has reached the destination location, is this suggested route map is really working or not? Okay, working is not is known as validation. What is working? Working is known as the functionality. Working is known as validation. Correct route is given is known as verification. Okay, whether when you follow this route map, it is really going to the destination location is called as validation. Okay, working of the functionality is called as validation. So in software testing also same thing, guys. Verification means, so all the you see, without running the code, without the software getting developed, you are checking whether BRS document requirements are correct or not, test plan things are correct or not, test cases are written in a correct way or not. Okay, traceability matrix is created correctly or not. Okay, you are testing the documents, you are reviewing the documents, you are doing static analysis on the code, and you are reviewing the code in different ways and all those stuff. That is verification testing. So if you verify all those stuff, correct system will be built. Based on that only, system will start developing. Developers will start developing in a proper way, and correct system will be developed. Okay, but once it is developed, that functionality, once the software is developed and it is ready for use, when you are trying to use whether the functionality of the application developed software is working or not, functionalities of the software are working or not, developed functionality, that is validation testing. Okay, validation starts once the software is ready and will test the software. When you are ready to test the software and software is running, your code is running, guys. Okay, code will be running. When you run the software, automatically code will be running. This is not always done by the tester, guys. Okay, validation testing is not always done by the software tester. Developer also will do the validation testing, because as you already know, in there are different levels of, okay, software testing. There are different levels of software testing, that is unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and user acceptance testing. There are different levels of software testing. Unit testing and integration testing falls under white box testing category, where unit testing and integration testing are generally done by the developer. Here, for performing the unit testing or integration testing, we have to run the code. Okay, system testing is done by the software tester, where the using the graphical user interface of the software. Okay, using the graphical user interface of the software, we have to test the software. So indirectly the code will be running. Here code will be running. Okay, that unit piece of code will be running while testing. Here, that logically grouped units code will be running while performing integration testing by developer. Here also the code will be running. That is system testing. Okay, when you use the software, automatically in the background the code will run. User acceptance testing also, when using the graphical user interface, when you use the software, automatically the code behind the background will run. So the validation testing falls under the which category? Static testing or dynamic testing? It falls under the dynamic testing category. Okay, here I have not written, let me write. It falls under the dynamic testing category, because the testing is done by running the software, by running the code, by running the code. In static testing, the testing will be done without running the code. So verification testing falls into the static testing category, where running of the code is not required. But validation testing falls into the dynamic testing category, where running of the code is required. Okay, so in all these levels of software testing, the code will run. Okay, this is what is validation testing, guys. So hope guys you understood what is validation testing in this session. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 363. That is, what is the difference between verification testing and validation testing? Let me answer. So what is the difference between verification testing and validation testing? Coming to the verification testing, okay, it's nothing but we are checking whether we are building the correct system or not. Okay. So if the client is asking for this circle to be developed, and if the developers are delivering the square box, is that a good thing? No, right? So if the client is asking for circle, developers also should deliver the circle itself. Okay, they should not deliver the square. So here, as part of verification testing, we check whether we are building the right system, that is correct system or not. Whatever the client has asked, that we are building or not is tested as part of the verification testing. But coming to the validation testing, here we are checking whether the system that is built is working fine or not. Here we are not checking for the correctness of the application. Okay, according to the client requirement, whether we have developed is not the case here. Coming to validation testing, whether the developed functionality, okay, whether the developed functionality is working or not. Is it working or not? Whether the functionality is working or not. But here, whether the, okay, whether we are building the correct system or not, correct application or not, whatever the client is asking, are we building the same or not, is verification. But is the developed thing working or not, functioning or not, is validation testing. So hope guys at a high level you got what is verification testing, what is validation testing. Now let me take a real world example in these two things. Okay. So in the previous sessions also I covered this, but let me cover again as questions is demanding. Let's say this is a source location, and this is a destination location. Okay. Now you as a person have to travel on your car from the source location to the this particular destination location that you don't know. So what you generally do guys, if you don't know the route, you will open Google Maps. Everyone does the same thing, right? So we open the Google Maps. Some route is there. That this route, how to go from the source location to the destination location, we don't know. So we have to open the Google Maps. So in our mobile phone, okay, we'll open the Google Maps, and the Google Maps will enter the source location and destination location like this. We enter the source location and destination location, and Google Maps will give you a route. It will give you this route. Okay, this route you have to follow in order to reach your destination like that. Now, so this is your car. This is your car. Okay, let's say this is your car, and you have not started it. But before you started from the source location to destination in Google Maps, you entered the destination and source and destination, and it has given you route. Now you want, before you started journey to the destination, before you started your car, you want to check whether this suggested route by the Google Maps is correct or not. This is called as verification. Are you planning to drive in a correct route that is suggested by the Google Maps or not, is known as verification. This is verification guys. You are verifying whether the Google Maps is giving a correct route or not. You will zoom out, zone in, uh, and check whether the route is correct, proper route or not. But you have not started using the route here. Whatever the Google Maps suggested route is there, you are on your car, but you have not started your car and utilizing this route. Before you started only, you are checking whether I'm going to go in a correct path or not, correct route or not. That is called as verification. Now you started your car, and whatever the left right Google Maps is saying, you went and you reached your destination, let's say, and this you are utilizing the route. Okay, you are checking whether the suggested route is working or not. That is validation. Okay, if you have started your journey and using the route suggested by Google Maps and taking the directions left right and using the map suggested route and have reached the destination or whatever it is, that is called as, okay, whether the route is working or not, whether the route is helping me in reaching the destination or not, is validation. So hope guys you got the real world example. Let's convert that into software. In software, here you are checking whether you're going to build the correct system or not, correct application or not. Here you are checking whether the the system that got built already is working or not, whether it is functioning or not. For example, login functionality is developed Already developers have developed as here, and but when you enter the username password and click on the login button, that login button is not working. That is a validation check, which is a failure. Okay. Verification is correctly it has been built or not. Correctly we are going to build or not. Okay. So this verification testing is performed. Okay. When the software is not yet developed. Software is not ready, guys. Okay. When the software is not available for testing, then only you are performing the testing. How it is possible? How to test a particular thing which is not yet ready, not yet developed it. Developers have not built the software, but still you can perform verification testing to see whether we are going to build the correct system or not. Okay. This is not always done by testers, guys. Both developers and testers will do this verification testing. Both the developers and testers will do the verification testing. And this verification is not done on the software because software is not yet developed. So what will be there when the software is not there? We'll have different type of documents like BRS document, requirement document, design document, test plan, test cases, traceability matrix, the code that is written by developers, but it's not at in a state where the software is developed. Okay. So all these documents and code will be there, guys. We are checking this code. We are examining this requirement document to see all the requirements provided in this BRS document are correct or not. We are examining the designs and seeing whether the designs are correct or not. Test plans are prepared properly or not. Test cases which will be used for testing are written correctly or not. Like that, you are checking. Code reviews will be done. Okay, to see whether proper code, proper way of writing the code is done for building the application. Or by checking all these stuffs, okay, if these are verified properly, automatically using this only, developers are going to build the software. Ultimately, what will happen if these are correct? The software which is going to be built up also will be correct. Will be delivering the right software. Hope you are able to understand what is verification testing. But how these documents will be checked or examined or tested or verified? How they will be done? In the form of static analysis and reviews. Two types: static analysis and reviews. Static analysis will be done on the code. Code will be whatever the code that is written but cannot be executed, guys. This code will not be executed. In verification testing, will not be running the code. The code will be given as an input to the static analysis tools like SonarQube and many other tools are there in the market. The tool will simply scan the code and give you the suggestions like what are the best practices you have to still follow, whether you have followed the standards or not, all those stuff. Okay, any security problems are there, uh, is there any improvements we have to make in while writing the code? Okay, better way of writing the code is done or not, like static analysis will be done. And coming to the reviews, there are different type of reviews, guys. Okay, here different documents and code will be reviewed using this different type of reviews. Walkthroughs, which are informal reviews, inspections, which are formal reviews, code reviews, which are generally done by the seniors will do the review for the juniors. Okay, to see whether juniors are writing the proper code or not. Pair programming, where two developers will be sitting side by side, and one will be writing, other person will be reviewing the code, and they will be interchanging their roles later. Technical reviews, here a technical expert will be reviewing these documents or code, whatever it is. Okay, so this is how, guys, these documents will be verified, checked, tested to see if these are tested properly. Automatically, we'll be building the right system. Okay, that's the funda. This verification testing falls into the static testing category, guys. Okay, it falls into which category? Static testing category, because here we are testing these documents without running the code. Here code is there, but we are not running while checking testing. Okay, testing done without running the code, static testing. Okay, so verification testing also same thing, guys. Here all the testing process will be done without running the code. Okay, we'll be simply checking the document to see the rightness of the building of the application. Okay, so that is verification testing. And coming to the validation testing, okay, validation testing, here in verification testing, software is not yet developed and we are doing the verification testing with these documents and all. But in validation testing, software need to be ready, guys, and should be ready for testing. Software should be already built, then only we can do the validation testing. Okay, software should be built. It's also not always done by the tester, guys. Here developers and testers will both do the validation testing, similar to the verification testing. So you remember the different levels of testing, right? There are different levels of testing like unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and user acceptance testing. All these come under the validation testing. While unit testing and integration testing are done by the developers. Okay, these are white box testing category. Unit testing and integration will fall into the white box testing category, which where the developers will be able to view the code, access the code, test the code. Okay, but coming to system testing, here software testers, once the software is visually is ready with the visual graphical user interface, Okay, in all these cases, the code will be running, guys. Okay, the code is running. Unit testing, you have to run a piece of code. In integration testing, you have to run the group of logically integrated units together. System testing, the entire whole system will be integrated and given to you, and you will be performing system testing as a whole using the graphical user interface of the software. The software testers will do. User acceptance testing also the same thing, guys. Complete graphical user interface should be there, and end users or client side business people have to do as part of alpha or beta testing under user acceptance testing. So here in all these cases, the code will be running, guys. Okay. So as part of validation testing, we'll be checking whether the application is working or not. The functionality of the application is working or not. Here it is not about the correctness of the building of the software. Here it is about whether the built software functionalities are working or not. Okay. That can be done using unit integration system and user acceptance testing, guys. Okay. And it falls into the dynamic testing category because in all these levels of testing, including unit testing, also we have to run the code. Integration also we have to run the code. System testing indirectly, when you use a graphical user interface, the background the code will be running. User acceptance testing also same thing. While you are using the graphical user interface in the background, the code will be running. Okay. So hence validation testing falls into the dynamic testing category because code will be running. Okay. Verification falls into the static testing category because your code is not running and still we are checking the documents and seeing whether the correct system is getting built or not. Okay. Fine. Here system right, that is functioning or not. Okay. So hope guys you understood the difference between verification and validation testing in this session. So that's all for this session. The next session I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 364. That is, what is happy path testing? Let me answer. So what is happy path testing? Testing using known valid inputs which produce expected output is known as happy path testing. Okay, I'll give an example so that you'll understand clearly what exactly is happy path testing. Testing using the known valid inputs, guys. Okay, so while testing you are going to give known valid inputs which produces expected output. Okay, for example, here if I take you to this application and if you go to the login page, I know the valid credentials, guys. Okay, for the login to this application, so I'll give the credentials here. This is a valid email address. Known valid inputs we have to give. Okay, I'm giving the password is 12345. The moment I click on login, what should happen? What I'm expecting, the application should log in, right? If I'm able to log in, that is the expected output. Okay. Testing using known valid inputs, that is a known valid email address and valid password in this case, which produces expected output, that is user got logged in, is called as happy path testing. Okay. So when you use known valid inputs, if you are getting the expected output, okay, which produce, okay, the valid inputs which produce the expected valid output, if you are expecting are testing like that in that direction, that is called as happy path testing. So hope guys you understood what is happy path testing in this session. So that's all for this session. In the next session I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 365. That is, what is golden path testing? Let me answer. So what is golden path testing? Golden path testing is also known as happy path testing. I already have explained about happy path testing in the previous session. Okay, golden path testing is another name for happy path testing where we'll be testing using known valid inputs which produce expected output. Okay. So using the known valid inputs, by entering the known valid inputs, for example, if you go to a login page and there you enter the known valid inputs, okay, like a valid email address, known valid email address, known valid password, if you enter and you click on the login button, what is the expected output there? The user should get logged in, right? That is the expected output. This is a happy path testing, guys, which is also known as golden path testing. Let me show you practically. For example, if you go to this application and if you go to this login page and as part of golden path testing or happy path testing, we have to provide here the known valid inputs. Known inputs we have to provide, okay, which can produce the expected output. What is expected output while testing this? I'm expecting the user to get logged in. Okay, for that I am providing the known valid inputs. Click on the login button, I got logged in. As expected, I got logged in. Okay, this is what is called as golden path testing or happy path testing, guys. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello, all. Welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 366. That is, what is sunny day testing? Let me answer. So what is sunny day testing? Sunny day testing is also known as happy path testing and golden path testing. I already explained about happy path testing and golden path testing. Both are same actually. Okay, and sunny day testing is also same. Okay, I already explained about happy path testing, which is also known as golden path testing in the previous session. Okay, now I'm going to explain sunny day testing, which is also same as happy path testing. There are different names for this happy path testing, guys. You can call happy path testing as golden path testing or sunny day testing. Okay, where testing will be performed using known valid inputs which produce expected output. For example, let's say there is a login page. Okay, in the login page, you generally see which fields: username field, password field, and login button. You will see. Okay, into that username field and password field, you will try to enter. Okay, you will enter known valid inputs. Okay, whatever the known inputs are there, which are valid, are there. Known valid username, known valid password, you will enter, and you will click on the login button, and which produce expected output. What is expected output? By providing the valid username password, the user will get logged in. That is expected output. Okay, so testing performed using known valid inputs which produce expected output is known as happy path testing or golden path testing or sunny day testing. All are same. Let me give that example for you. Practically, let me demonstrate the happy path testing or golden path testing or sunny day testing for you. Let's go to the login page. So here we have the email address and password. Here I'll enter the known valid email address, known valid password, and when I click on the login button, non-valid password is 12345. When I click on the login button, okay, my expected outcome is the user should get logged in. Okay, when I click on the login, the user got logged in. Okay, logout option is coming, so it got logged in. So this kind of testing is known as sunny day testing, which is also known as happy path testing and golden path testing. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello. Welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 367. That is, what is unhappy path testing? Let me answer. So what is unhappy path testing? Testing by entering invalid inputs which results in negative outcomes is known as unhappy path testing, which is an opposite of the happy path testing. In happy path testing, we provide non-valid inputs, okay, to produce positive outcomes, positive expected outcomes. But in unhappy path testing, the reverse will happen where we will deliberately provide invalid inputs, okay, invalid inputs into the application so that the application will result in negative outcome, some warning message or error message will come. Okay, this is called as unhappy path testing. Example, okay, let's say there is a login page. Okay, for example, here we have a login page of this application. So let's go to the login page. In the login page, we have this email address and password field. What if I provide some invalid details here? Okay, I provide invalid email address and password and click on the login button. So deliberately I'm providing the invalid inputs and click on the login button. Instead of getting logged in, I'm getting a warning message saying no match for email address and password. This is called as unhappy path testing. Okay, so hope guys you understood what is unhappy path testing in this session, which is an opposite of the happy path testing. In happy path testing, we'll get positive expected outcome, but in unhappy path testing, we get negative outcome because we are entering invalid inputs in unhappy path testing. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all. Welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 368. That is, what is sad path testing? Let me answer. So what is sad path testing? Sad path testing is also known as unhappy path testing. Okay, both are same guys. Unhappy path testing and sad path testing both are same. Here, how do we perform sad path testing or unhappy path testing? While testing, we'll enter invalid inputs. Okay, intentionally while testing, we are providing invalid inputs. For example, there is a login page. The login page has username and password. Into that username and password fields, we enter invalid email address. Into the password field, we enter invalid password and click on the login button. What will happen? A negative outcome will come. We will not be able to log in. If the application is still allowing us to log in, that means there is a defect in the application. There is a bug in the application. But generally what happens guys, when you enter invalid credentials and click on the login button, okay, the application should not allow us to log in. This kind of testing is known as sad path testing, okay, which is an opposite of the happy path testing, guys. In happy path testing, what we do? In happy path testing, we provide valid known credentials, okay, the things that are going to work. Okay, we are definitely going to log in such kind of credentials. You provide valid username, valid password, which you already know. Will enter into the login page and click on the login button, and you will get a positive outcome. You should get a positive outcome. That kind of testing, okay, that kind of testing, the test cases, such kind of test cases are called as happy path test cases. And if you are executing such kind of happy path test cases, that is called as happy path testing. And the test cases which are involved with, okay, intentional invalid inputs with a negative outcomes are known as, okay, are known as unhappy path test cases. And testing them are called as, testing those kind of test cases which cover the unhappy paths are called as unhappy path testing, or you can also call it as sad path testing. So hope guys you understood what is sad path testing in this session. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to answer software testing interview question 369. That is, what is bad path testing? Let me answer. So what is bad path testing? In the previous sessions, I covered what is happy path testing and what is sad path testing. Now I am covering another path testing known as bad path testing. So what is bad path testing? In bad path testing, we execute the test cases which test by entering junk inputs which result in warning messages. Some kind of, it's not about valid or invalid guys, okay? So in case of happy path testing, you are entering the valid known inputs and expecting the positive outcome. In case of sad path testing, you are entering intentionally, you are entering invalid inputs and expecting the negative outcomes that user should not get logged in or whatever it is. But in case of bad path testing, you enter junk inputs. Some examples of the junk inputs is like, for example, in place of email address, you give all the different type of characters, Chinese characters or Japanese characters or Korean characters. Okay. So, and see what's happening with the application. Okay. Some kind of invalid junk inputs we give, and also whatever that is not expected, we'll give here. For example, if username is generally like it's username or email address can be generally like, for example, 50 characters, let's say. Okay, you give 70 characters and see whether what's happening, whether the application is giving a proper error message or warning message to you. Okay, such kind of test cases fall into the bad path. Okay, here we are not intentionally giving invalid input, or neither we are not giving non-valid inputs to get positive outcomes, right? But here we are giving some junk inputs. Okay, for example, if you are testing email address field, the email address field, you can give lot of junk inputs in email address guys. Okay, you can remove at the rate and give that and see what's happening. You give 70 characters one. Okay, you give blank email address, junk inputs, such kind of playing with that kind of test cases. That test cases fall into the bad path category guys. Executing such kind of test cases which results in warning messages or error messages is known as bad path testing. Okay, I already gave the example while explaining. Okay, so hope guys you understood what is bad path testing in this session. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all. Welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 370. That is, what is keyword driven testing? Let me answer. So what is keyword driven testing? Keyword driven testing is a test automation framework. Okay. Few till now, whatever the interview questions I explained, they all fall into the manual testing category where you don't use any automation tool. But here in keyword driven testing is nothing but a test automation framework. Okay. This is a framework. So you may not understand what exactly is a framework now. Okay. So it's a test automation framework. Instead of doing manually, we have to automate the scenarios and run them. Okay. The automation tool will be running the automation scripts. For running the, for creating that automation, okay, for supplying the automation scripts to the automation tool, we need to follow different frameworks, guys. Okay, there are different type of frameworks like data driven framework, keyword driven framework, hybrid framework, and many design patterns are there, many best practices are there. Okay, so automation tool is just a tool. Okay, we have to supply that automation tool with some automation scenarios. Okay, so when you have 5 or 6 scenarios, doesn't matter. But when the count of automation scenarios okay, increase to hundreds or thousands or whatever it is, if that is a very big complex project, the number of automation scenarios that the automation tool has to rise, okay, when they rise, automatically we have to build a framework. Okay, without framework, things are not going to work. When there are many automation scripts, it's not so easy for us to manage so many automation scripts. Okay, so reusability, such kind of advantages we get by using this frameworks, guys. Okay, framework is something like that. So one of the framework is keyword driven framework. Okay, so what is keyword driven testing? It's a test automation framework, guys. Okay, so we can also call this as keyword driven framework also. So for whom this keyword driven framework is designed, you see different frameworks have different purposes. Data driven framework has a different purpose. Keyword driven framework has a different purpose, like that. Okay, hybrid framework has a different purpose, like that. Keyword driven framework also has a purpose. So this framework is created by technical people only. Okay, the people who are good in programming languages and coding, right, they create this framework. Okay, they create a project in one of the tools like Eclipse IDE or IntelliJ, and they structure. Okay, they put all the automations, all automation tests, and they create a lot of packages. If you are into Java, you know about packages. Okay, so they put some third party methods somewhere. Okay, they integrate the process of generating a report. Okay, when all these automation scripts run, a report need to be generated where you can see all the results of the automation at a single place. Okay, so lot of things, guys, lot of things. But what about keyword driven framework? What is its ultimate purpose? It's though it is developed, created and automated by the technical people, but ultimately it is given to the non-technical users. You see, there is a company A. Let's say there is a company A, guys. Okay, this is company A. Company A. And in this company, there are a lot of people, guys. Okay, a lot of non-technical. Okay, these people doesn't have any programming knowledge, or they are not. They doesn't belong to the. They don't have any programming knowledge. Simple words. Okay, and there is another company, guys. Company B. This company B has technical people. Technical people who can create the frameworks like keyword driven framework, data driven framework, hybrid framework. Okay, which help in solving the automation problem. Okay, man, instead of you as a person doing the automation, the tool has to do the tool has to perform testing. For that, automation scripts are required. For that, some people have to write the automation code in some programming languages like Java, Python, or something. Okay, and also they have to create a framework. But these people are non-technical people, so they don't have any programming knowledge, so they cannot write any automation scripts. They also don't know how to create a framework. But these company B people are technical, so that they created a framework. They have automated all the automation scripts, and now these people are so non-technical that they don't even understand how to run the automation scripts. Even though these people have created a framework, they created automation script. Still, if you provide these non-technical people and tell them, give a demo and tell them how to run, okay, they feel very difficult, because these people are non-technical people, but they are very good in other areas. Okay, doesn't mean that they are bad. They're good in very other areas, like they have very good business knowledge or whatever it is. They are for their purpose, but technical wise they are zero. This situation came. What these technical people will do is they will create a framework known as keyword driven framework. Keyword driven framework they will create. So what they will do is, so you see in Eclipse IDE or something, the project will be there, all the technical language and everything will be there, all the automation scripts will be there. On the top of that, they will create an Excel file. Okay, they will connect this Excel file with this automation. Okay, automation project. So in this Excel file, they'll provide something like this: 1, 2, 3, and whatever you take. Here, login. Okay, they will give a keyword known as login. So this login keyword, these people can understand, right? So if these people want to automate run the automation scripts related to login, they'll simply provide login here. Okay, login and provide yes option, y option here. Okay, the moment y is there and login beside login y is there, you see what happens is, via this Excel sheet, the automation scripts are running. Here, they are not worried about what programming language the technical people have used, what framework they have written. These non-technical people simply will look into this Excel sheet where a lot of keywords will be provided. And using these keywords, they can build some automation scenarios also. Okay, here who is writing the automation scripts? Even non-technical people also are writing the automation scripts, but not using any programming language. Rather, these non-technical people are using these keywords provided by these technical people in an Excel sheet. By combining these keywords, they are able to run the automation scripts in whatever the business knowledge they have. Okay, so because they are good at business knowledge, they want to combine all the different keywords and run an automation script like that. Okay, so this is what is a keyword driven framework, guys. Okay, so not technical people will create a framework known as keyword driven framework, and they will provide an Excel sheet attached to this framework with the non-technical people. Non-technical people will not look into the project, rather they will look into the Excel sheet where a list of keywords are provided. By playing with the keywords, they are going to run the automation scripts, okay, or create new automation scripts also. Okay, so this how this is how keyword driven framework helps the non-technical people into automation, get into automation. Okay, because they have very good business knowledge. They don't have technical skills, that's the only thing. Okay, this if this particular kind of testing, I mean if this kind of framework is being used by non-technical people to run the automation scripts, that testing is called as keyword driven testing. Okay, it's an automation testing only, but keyword driven automation testing, okay, which is possible with the help of automation, keyword driven automation framework, which is created by the technical people. Okay, so hope guys you understood what is keyword driven testing in this session. So that's all for this session. In the next session I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session I'm going to answer software testing interview question 371, that is, what is incremental integration testing? Let me answer. So what is incremental integration testing? In incremental integration testing, individually tested units are integrated with other units and immediately tested before integrating them with other next units. Okay, so let me explain this in detail, this statement in detail. So here, let's say in incremental integration testing, some units, let's say these units are ready and already tested. These units will be incrementally integrated with other units. Okay, so they will be integrated with other units. Let's say these units are integrated with next level units or other units in an incremental fashion. Okay, in an incremental fashion, these units are integrated with other units, and after integration, this integration is tested. Okay, so we not only integrate here, but also immediately test them. Okay, test them. So now after testing only, again, these units can be again incrementally integrated with other units. Okay, so that's why we call this integration testing as incremental integration testing, where some units will be integrated with other units. Already individually tested units will be integrated with the other units, and before integrating them with other units, other level of units, we test them. Okay, then integrated with other units, and again we test them. Again, we'll integrating them with other units and test them. Okay, this process continues until integration is done. Okay, let's read this statement again. In incremental integration testing, individually tested units are integrated with other units and immediately tested after integration. Okay, whether these integrations are working or not, immediately we test them. If they are really working, again we'll be integrating these units which are already integrated with other units with next level units, and again we test them, and this cycle continues. So this is a high level term, guys. Okay, incremental integration testing is a high level term where there are types like top down integration testing, bottom up integration testing, sandwich integration testing. All these examples are approaches of integration testing falls into the incremental integration testing. In top down, high level units will be integrated with the next low level units, okay, in an incremental fashion. In bottom up integration testing approach, the low level units will be integrated with their next high level units in an incremental fashion and tested, and then integrated with next level of units, and then tested, and then integrated with next high level units in bottom up integration. In sandwich, the integration happens in both direction, from top to down and bottom to up. Okay, in an incremental fashion again. So after every integration, we test it, guys. Okay, then again we integrate and test it. Okay, that's what is the main intention of incremental integration testing. But This incremental integration testing has some advantages and disadvantages. Coming to advantages, issues can be identified sooner. Why? Because after every integration, it may be top down or bottom up or sandwich. In every integration, you are testing. Then only you are integrating them with other units. Then testing. Since you are testing immediately after integration, the defects or issues, okay, as part of the integration can be identified sooner. If they can be identified sooner, what happens? The fixing becomes easy. Okay, fixing can be done without impacting other modules, guys, because only that integration level you are testing. Other units are not yet integrated, so that you don't have to worry about impacting other units, because you are simply integrating and testing. Integrating and testing means fixing can be done without impacting other remaining units. Okay, and very less expensive to fix. Okay, less expensive to fix because issues can be identified sooner and it's not impacting other modules, means ultimately the cost of fixing this particular integration issues will be less. That is, these are the advantages, guys. And we have a disadvantage also. That is, though it issues can be found sooner, and it's less expensive, and without impacting other modules or units, we can fix problems or issues in the integrations and all. Irrespective of this advantage, we have the disadvantage, like time consuming, guys. Okay, even though we have these advantages, it will take a lot of time. Okay, for this because we are integrating and testing takes a lot of time. Again integrating, again testing, this process takes time. But with advantages, okay, we are getting these advantages because of compromising this time. Okay, so hope, guys, you understood what is incremental integration testing in this session. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 372. That is, what is hybrid integration testing? Let me answer. So what is hybrid integration testing? Hybrid integration testing is also known as sandwich integration testing. So integration testing is the second level of software testing. There are 4 levels of software testing, like unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and acceptance testing. Second level is integration testing, and in this integration testing, there are different approaches. What are the different approaches we have in the integration testing? We have different approaches like top-down integration testing approach, bottom-up integration testing approach, sandwich integration testing approach, and big bang integration testing approach. But what is hybrid integration testing or sandwich integration testing? It is a combination of top-down and bottom-up integration testing. Okay, hybrid integration testing is a combination of top down and bottom up. Fine. So let me explain. So in top down integration testing approach, the higher level units will be first individually tested units will be provided here, and they will be integrated with the their low level units. And here integration will be done from top to down. Similarly, we have bottom up integration testing. Okay, here the low level units will be integrated with their higher level units. Low level units will be integrated with their higher level units. Here, the integration will happen from bottom to up. The combination of this top down integration testing approach and bottom up integration testing approach is known as sandwich. Okay, like a sandwich. Okay, like a sandwich. Here, this is how the real world sandwich looks like, right? The stuff will be there in between, right? So here you will be pushing from 2 directions, like top down. From top to down, you will be integrating the units. Okay, from top to down, you will be integrating the units, and from bottom to up also, you will be integrating the units at the same time. That means here, this is how the integration happens in sandwich or hybrid integration testing. Both are same. Hybrid integration testing is also known as sandwich integration testing. In this approach, the at the same time, simultaneously, the higher level units will be integrated with their lower level units, and the lower level units will be integrated with their higher level units. Okay, the integration happens in 2 directions, guys. Okay, from bottom to up and top to down. Okay, from bottom to up and top to down at the same time it will happen until it reaches the complete integration. Okay, this is called as sandwich integration testing. or you can also call it as hybrid integration testing. Both another name for sandwich integration testing is hybrid integration testing, where the integration happens in two directions, that is from top to down and bottom to up. Hence, hybrid integration testing or sandwich integration testing is equal to top down integration testing approach plus bottom up integration testing approach. So hope guys you understood what is hybrid integration testing approach in this session. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all. Welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 373. That is, what is system integration testing? Let me answer. So what is system integration testing? Before I explain what exactly is system integration testing, let me first explain what is system testing. System testing is generally performed on the integrated software as a whole. The whole components of the software are integrated together to become a complete software. A whole software is created by integration, guys. If you are testing that wholly integrated software, the complete software, if you are testing, that is called as system testing. This is a third level of software testing, guys, where all the components of the software are integrated and the complete software is created. The software is tested as a whole. That is system testing. But there is system integration testing also. I can categorize, okay, system integration testing into two types. One is pre-system integration testing. Other one is post-system integration testing. Pre-system integration testing or pre-ST is like pre-system testing or post-system testing you can call, okay, is nothing but the testing which is performed before the system testing is pre-system integration testing. The testing which is performed, the integration testing, the system integration testing which is performed after the system testing is called as post-system integration testing. Okay, the system integration testing I am categorizing into two types, pre-sit and post-sit. Pre-sit means pre-system integration testing which is performed before the system testing, before testing the complete software as a whole. After the integration of all the components of the software, to make the software as a whole and then tested, right? That is system testing I already told you. Okay, before the system testing is performed, if you are performing the system integration testing, that is called as pre-sit, performed before the system testing. After the system testing is done, after the completely integrated software as a whole is tested, okay, after system testing is performed, if you are performing a system integration testing, that is post system integration testing. So what is pre-sit and post-sit? Okay, let me explain in detail. Coming to the pre-sit, guys, pre-system integration testing is while system integration testing will be performed between different components of the system while we are integrating them together. Okay, different components means different units, you can say unit level codes. Okay, so it may be the second level, guys. Okay, pre-sit is like a second level of software. You can also call that as an integration testing. Okay, there are different approaches in integration testing, like top-down integration testing approach, bottom-up integration testing approach, sandwich integration testing approach, big bang integration testing approach. Using any of these integration approaches, we integrate the different components of the system. Okay, while we are integrating the different components of the logically groupable components of the system in using any of these approaches like top-down, bottom-up, sandwich, or big bang, if you are performing the testing, that is called as pre-sit. This integration testing is performed before the system testing. Okay, okay, this pre-sit is nothing but testing the integration of different components of the system. While the different components of the system are getting integrated, if you are testing, okay, using any of the approaches like already told you, right, top down, bottom up, sandwich, and big bang, that is called as pre-system integration testing. And there is another integration, system integration testing known as post-system integration testing, which is generally performed after the system testing. After the third level of software testing, it is generally performed, guys. So the main intention why we perform this post-sit after the system testing is to check whether our whole system, okay, after system, in system testing, you are testing the system as a whole. As a whole, the system is working, but this whole system is integrating with other external systems or not. Okay, if there is something where our software need to interact with other external software, our software, maybe our software is e-commerce software, has to integrate with other banking, net banking software or something. That checking external integration of our whole system with other external system, that integration, if you are testing, is post system integration testing, which is generally performed after the system testing. So hope guys you got an idea what exactly is system integration testing. If someone asks you what is system integration testing, first explain what is system testing and then explain pre-sit and post-sit, two types of system integration testing. So in a lot of websites, they either explain pre-system integration testing. In some websites, they will explain post-system integration testing. Now you just combinedly explain so that they can understand like what's your knowledge levels and all. Okay, so hope guys you understood what is system integration testing. Hope you got the answer for this question in this session. So that's all for this session. The next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to answer software testing interview question 374. That is, what is bidirectional integration testing? Let me answer. Bidirectional integration testing is also known as sandwich integration testing and hybrid integration testing. There are several names for sandwich integration testing. That is hybrid integration testing we can call the sandwich integration testing as, and also we can call the sandwich integration testing as bidirectional integration testing. So as part of this integration testing, which is the second level of software testing, first level is unit testing, then we'll get integration testing, then system testing and user acceptance. These are the 4 levels of software testing. And coming to the second level of software testing, that is the integration testing, there are different approaches followed. Okay. In order to perform the integration testing, which is the second level of software testing, there are different approaches followed. That is top-down integration testing approach, bottom-up integration testing approach, sandwich integration testing approach, and big bang integration testing approach. The sandwich integration testing approach is also known as hybrid integration testing and bidirectional integration testing. There are several names for sandwich integration testing. Okay. So the sandwich or hybrid or bidirectional, everything is same, which is nothing but equal to top down plus bottom up integration testing approaches. Let me explain that in detail. Okay, if you focus on the top down integration testing, the integration of the different logical units of the software will happen in this way. Okay, the top down integration testing, first high level units will be integrated with their next level low level units, and these low level units will be again integrated with their next level low level units. Okay, the integration will happen from top to bottom. First high level units will be ready, and the high level units will be integrated with their low level units. Okay, the higher level units will be integrated with their lower level units like this. Okay, so here the integration of these units is happening from top to down. Okay, top down integration testing approach, that is. Okay, we also have bottom up integration testing approach. Okay, we also have bottom up integration testing approach where the lower level units, okay, these are the lower level units guys, these lower level units are integrated with their higher level units, and these higher level units are integrated with their next higher level units, and so on. This process will continue. Okay, so we are integrating the lower level units with their higher level units. So the integration is happening here from bottom to up. This is bottom up integration testing approach. If you add this both integration approaches, okay, if you sum up this top down integration testing with this bottom up integration testing, then this kind of approach will come. That is sandwich integration testing approach, where the integration will happen in both the directions. That is higher level units will be integrated with their lower level units. Simultaneously, the lower level units will be integrated with their next level higher level units. So this direction integration is happening. This direction integration of units is happening, both the directions. Okay, your integration is happening from top to wrong arrow. Here integration is happening from top to down, and at same time bottom to up. Okay, so both things are happening like a sandwich case. You see, in sandwich you press two bread slices and you put something in between and some stuff in between, and you press the bread slices from two directions, right? The similar way here integration is pressed from two sides. Okay, that is sandwich integration testing. The other names for sandwich integration testing are hybrid. You can call the sandwich integration testing as hybrid, and also bidirectional integration testing. So hope guys you understood what is bidirectional integration testing approach, which is a combination of the top down plus bottom up integration testing approaches. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 375. That is, what is iterative testing? Let me answer. So what is iterative testing? Iterative testing is a process of developing and testing the application by adding or doing small changes to the existing application. You see, so the development or testing of the features that are getting added to the application will be done in the form of iterations. Guys. Iteration one, some small changes will be done. Okay, in the iteration one, which will have some duration, will have some small changes. Okay, done to the application. Here already application is there. To this application, some small changes will be done. Okay, so developers will be doing some small changes to the application to see whether the small changes are working along with the existing application. Testers will do their job. Okay, and so like this, the application will grow in size slowly, guys, because these are small changes. These are not large changes. Okay, in iterative testing. Okay, in iterative testing, small changes will be added in every iteration. Okay, in the next iteration, again, some more small changes will be added. Large changes will not be added, guys. Small changes will be added, and the application will slowly evolve over a period of time. Over multiple iterations, the small changes will be developed and tested, and over a period of time, what happens is, okay, over a period of time, the application will evolve. Okay, over a period of time. Okay, with small changes, application will evolve over a period of time via iterations. And that is called as iterative testing. Let me read this statement for you so that you can understand the same whatever I have explained in this diagram. Okay. Iterative testing is a process of updating the application, okay, with small changes. That is developing and testing the application with small changes, okay, uh, to allow the application evolve over time. We don't drastically build the application. We 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 allow the application to get built over a period of time, to get evolved over a period of time with small changes rather than large changes, and that is called as iterative testing. So hope guys you understood what is iterative testing in this session. So that's all for this session. In the next session I am going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello, welcome to this session. In this session I am going to answer software testing interview question 376. That is, what is loop testing? Let me answer. So what is loop testing? Loop testing comes under white box testing category. That means while performing the loop testing, the code that is written for building the software is visible. Hence, it is falls into the white box testing category. And what exactly is loop testing? Loop testing is performed to test the correctness of loops that are used while building the software code. Okay, while the developers are writing the software code, here and there, they have to write the logic for loops. Okay, they have to mention the loops, the looping statements. We can also call them as iterative statements, which keep running the same lines of code multiple times. Okay, if you are testing the correctness, okay, or the rightness of this kind of loops, which will iterate the same set of statements in the software code, that is called as loop testing. Okay, so just to conclude guys, simple terms, checking the correctness of loops used while building the software code is called as loop testing. So hope guys you understood what is loop testing in this session. So that's all for this session. In the next session I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to answer software testing interview question 377. That is, what is logic coverage testing? Let me answer. So what is logic coverage testing? This logic coverage testing falls under or comes under white box testing category. That means while performing the logic coverage testing, we can see the code, we can access the code, okay, we can test the code. Okay, that's why logic coverage testing falls under the white box testing category. And how this logic coverage testing will be performed? As part of logic coverage testing, the testing will be performed based on some logical expressions used in the internal structure of the application code. Okay, while building the application, the developers will be using some internal structure of the code, right? They will be building the application based on some internal structure of the code. Okay, they will be writing the code using some internal structure. So in that internal structure of the code, application code, some logical expressions will be there. So as part of logic coverage testing, we'll be testing, okay, these logical expressions which are used by the developers while building the code based on this internal structure of the application. Okay. So I'll explain more about this logic coverage testing. Okay. So here we are testing the logical expressions used in the internal structure of the application code. Okay. That is written by the developers. So here the result of this logic coverage testing is here coverage will be the testing coverage will be tested from the white box side. Okay. Coverage will be measured based on the amount of this logic coverage testing done. That is one advantage of performing this logic coverage testing. Second thing is generally this logic coverage testing is performed with safety critical applications. It's not generally done with normal applications, guys. Okay. This logic coverage testing where we test the logical expressions used in the internal structure of the code, which is built or developed by the developers while building the software, will be actually done. This testing will be actually done with not normal applications, with safety critical applications. It will be done. Okay, a safety critical application like aviation. Aviation means airways and all. Okay, so the software is used in airways. Okay, it will be very complex, right? Which involves some mathematical, scientific formulas will be there. Okay, so complex logical expressions are there, guys. For example, while building the internal structure of the code, if the complex logical expressions are used for building the software, okay, now in order to test those complex logical expressions which are used in the internal structure of the code while building the software, right, that testing is called as logic coverage testing. It is not generally done for the normal software applications. It is generally done for the safety critical applications like aviation, okay, airway kind of things, where mathematical scientific formulas are used in logics. Okay, so hope guys you understood what is logic coverage testing in this session. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all. Welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 378. That is, what is workflow testing? Let me answer. So what is workflow testing? It's very simple, guys. Testing the application like being used by its end users or real customers by deriving the business process workflows is known as workflow testing. So what is workflow testing? So testing the application like it is being used in real time by the real customers or real users or real end users. Okay. For performing this workflow testing, we derive the business process workflow scenarios. Okay. So we will derive the business process workflows to perform this workflow testing, which simulate the activities that the real end users or real customers will use while using the application. Okay, testing such kind of workflows is known as workflow testing. So hope guys you understood what is workflow testing in this session. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to answer software testing interview question 379. That is, what is the difference between UI and UX? Let me answer. So what is the difference between this UI and UX? UI stands for user interface. UX stands for user experience. So what is the difference between this user interface design and user experience design? Okay, let me take an example. Okay, with an example, you will be able to easily understand what exactly is the difference between user interface design and user experience design. Okay, as the name speaks, user interface, user experience, right? So I'll take one application. Let's say I'll go with Amazon.com. Okay, I'll go to this Amazon.com website, guys. You see, as part of UI, if I'm talking about UI here, okay, if I'm talking about UI, that is user interface here, on this application, there are lot of elements. You see, there is a button, there is a flag image, there is a search button, text box field, okay, lot of images, links, hyperlinks. Okay, you see, it's got grayed out a bit when I clicked on that. All this is user interface, guys. Okay, whatever you are seeing on the screen, okay, these options that you are able to interact with, right? So this is user interface. It's a presentation layer of the application. You see, every application has different layers, right? The application has different layers. That is presentation layer. Okay. Then we have the logic layer. Then we have the database layer. Okay. Presentation layer, logic layer, and database layer will be there. In the presentation layer, on the presentation layer, there need to be a lot of user interface elements, UI elements, that is GUI elements we can call, graphical user interface elements to interact with. Okay, for example, this logo is a UI element, this button is a UI element, everything is a UI element, this cart is a UI element, and so on. And if you are able to, okay, use these UI elements or not, okay, interact with these user interface elements, if you're doing that, that is called as UI, guys. Okay, UI means user interface elements. But what is UX? UX also in the same terms, but the difference is experience here. Okay, there is a word you have to focus on. It's not about interface. Okay, whether you are able to interact with the elements is called as UI. Okay, whether you are able to interact with that button or link or whatever it is, or that is provided on the presentation layer of the application, that is called as user interface. But coming to user experience, it's not about interacting, it's about experience the user has. The better experience, the better look and feel the user has, that is called as user experience, UX. Okay, so this user interface has to be designed according to the a good look and feel the user likes. Okay, the user should like this design, guys. Okay, so you see the main important points. For example, if you see here, intentionally they have put this search button in orange color background, and at same time cart is equal to 0 also in orange color button. Okay, you see this is also in orange, and this also, they want to highlight some elements here. Okay, they want to highlight the search here, they want to highlight the cart here. That's why they have put this orange colors. So experience matters here. Okay, this is what is the experience, guys. Okay, so it's not about interfacing, interacting. Interacting means the background color can be anything, and the placement of these options can be anywhere. That is user interface. But here placement matters. What are the areas at which you have put this search button matters as part of user experience. And also, what is the background color of that option? What is the background color of this 0 here? You see, they want to highlight this 0 here. Okay, if any items are there in the cart, people can look into that here, or they want to highlight that. They want to grab the attention of the people. So they want to change the experience of the people. Maybe there may be some situations where, for example, you see, if someone is using this kind of, you see, scroll kind of image here, this background color and this background color matches. So maybe as part of user experience, it's not a big deal, but as part of user experience, you can report a defect or give a suggestion stating that the color of the furniture item that has been put on this image looks similar to this button, which is reducing the focus of the user on this search button. That thing you can explain or describe. Okay, you can suggest. Maybe they may change this furniture item to different color. Okay, they may change this furniture item to different color to improve the user experience and to get back the user focus onto the search button. Or user experience can be anything, guys. Okay, whenever they are using the application, they should feel very you see, very like very good design has been done. They should get a feeling, that is user experience. Okay, so buttons, links, and all these are user interface. But while using these options, or while using these elements, user interface elements, what is the experience that the user is getting is called as user experience, guys. Okay, so hope you got the difference between UI and UX. Okay, UI generally you see is observed based on the it's like you say psychology of the, it all depends on the psychology of the users, guys. Okay, end users. Okay, so mostly UX will be based on the psychology of the people. So but UI is not about psychology. Okay, it's just element, button, color, and all those stuff. That's okay. But UX is all about psychology. Like here, more of the psychology. We need to understand how the users are thinking, and whether proper way the users are using the applications or not. We have to uh, unconsciously drive the users to do that particular actions on the application by improving the experience or design of our application. That is called as user experience, guys. Okay, where the item should be there, which element should be focused, and all those things falls into the user experience. So hope, guys, you understood what is UI and UX. Okay, UI stands for just user interface. Okay, that is interacting with the graphical user interface elements, that is UI, whereas UX is user experience. Okay, we are trying to improve the experience of the using of the applications by the real users. Okay, by reading their psychology. Okay, and all those stuff. Okay, so whether they are able to focus on the items that they have to focus, and their application is running smooth, and they are feeling good or not. Okay, feel good experience is coming or not, everything falls into the UX case. Okay, the design has to be done in such a way that the user should feel very smooth and cool. Okay, and at same time the psychology is important, and how we are driving the users also is important. So I explained a lot about UI versus UX in this session. So that's all for this session. In the next session I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to answer software testing interview question 380. That is, can UI be automated? Let me answer. So, can UI be automated? UI means user interface. Okay, user interface of the application can be automated or not. The simple and straightforward answer for this question is yes. We can automate the user interface of the application. Okay. There are a lot of UI elements present on the application page. For example, if I take you to this application like Amazon.com, you see on this application, there are several UI elements. This logo, starting from this logo, the search button, this text box field, the sign in button, lot of images, hyperlinks, and so on. Okay. All these are the user interface elements. So can we automate that? Can we automate such kind of application having these user interface elements? The answer is yes, guys. Okay, there are several tools available in the market using which we can interact with those user interface elements, that is GUI elements like buttons, checkbox fields, and all elements. We can interact with the help of those automation tools and can then automate the applications. Okay, having the UI. Simple, straightforward answer is yes, UI can be automated. So for example, coming to the tools, guys, for web applications, the famous tool available in the market is Selenium. Okay, we have Selenium test automation tool, which is free and open source and can be used for automating the web applications UI. This is a web application. The applications which runs on the browsers are known as web applications. Such kind of applications can be automated using Selenium test automation tool. And coming to the mobile applications, okay, the UI of the mobile application also can be automated. All the buttons, options are available on the, okay, user interface options or buttons are available on the mobile application can also be interacted and automated with the help of the automation tools like Appium. Appium is one of the automation tool which will automate the mobile applications. Coming to the desktop applications, UFT is one of the automation tool which can automate the UI of the desktop applications. Okay, there are different tools for different type of applications and all, and many variety of tools are there for automating different type of applications. Okay, and many other automation tools available in the market. So just to conclude, guys, UI can be automated, user interface can be automated, that is a presentation layer of the application can be automated with the help of automation tools like this. So hope, guys, you got the answer for this question. So that's all for this session. In this session, in the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to answer software testing interview question 381. That is, can UX be automated? Let me answer. So UX stands for user experience. Okay. So it also works on the presentation layer of the application. On the presentation layer of the application, that is whatever we see on the application pages or application software screens. Okay, that is nothing but the presentation layer. We have two terms, UI and UX. UI stands for user interface. Okay, an interface for interacting with the graphical user interface elements on the web pages. That is UI. But UX is not UI. UX stands for user experience. What is the kind of experience we are giving to the user while using the application? Okay, that is UX, guys. Okay, the user should feel good while using the application. The placement of the items on the page should be good. Okay, whatever the items that need to be highlighted should be highlighted. This all depends on the psychological kind of factors of the end users, guys, like how the users would like, what's the best place for this UI element to be available on the page, and what is the best way to represent or present the element on the page. This is all UX, guys. It's a psychological thing. Okay, it's not about interacting with the UI elements, but rather than the experience that we are giving to the users, okay, on the presentation layer of the application. So here in this session, okay, I'm answering, can UX be automated? Can user experience can be automated? The answer is simply no, guys. UI can be automated because we can interact with the elements, but user experience is a psychological thing, right? It is a psychological thing. It all based on the feedback from the users, or like maybe based on analytics on how the users are using the application. This cannot be automated, guys. Okay, so UX is based on user experience and user psychology. Such kind of factors cannot be automated. Okay, they are actually discussed, and changes will be done to the application pages, but no one can automate such kind of things. Hence, UX cannot be automated. Only UI can be automated using some test automation tools like Selenium, APM, okay, UFT, Test Complete, and so on. UI only can be automated. UX cannot be automated because it is related to the experience of the user, of how the user is going to use the application. And for example, on this page, guys, if I take to Amazon.com, okay, you see, there are a lot of UI elements on this page. The search button, this button, your cart option, and there are some screens. These are all UI elements. I assume I accept that. Okay, I accept that these are all UI elements. These options which will change the screens. Everything is a UI element. We can interact with these UI elements, but user experience is a different thing. Okay, user experience is a different thing. If you see here on this application page, okay, this search button is in orange color. At same time, the cart 0, the number 0 is coming, is also in orange color. So what this Amazon.com have decided is to put this search button and this 0 or any number that comes in the cart, if you have added some items, to be coming in orange color, because users can focus on them. Okay, even you see in the logo of the Amazon, we have this orange. They are using orange color as a focused item. Okay, wherever you see, you have to take some actions, right? Near to orange or orange colors will be there. This is user experience. It's psychological thing, guys. Okay, it will drive the user to go to the next steps in a easier manner, and experience of the user, feel the look and feel of the application while the user is experiencing the application looks good, and whatever the action the user has to do can easily do without any problem, without any confusion. That is user experience. Okay, it's not about interacting with the elements. It's how we are presenting the UI to the users is user experience. Okay, this user experience cannot be automated. So hope, guys, you got the answer for this question. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 382. That is whether UI comes first or UX comes first. Let me answer whether UI comes first or UX comes first. UI stands for user interface. UX stands for user experience. Which one will come first? Whether user interface will come first or user experience will come first? User experience will come first. Okay, first the user experience come first, after that user interface using some coding languages like HTML and all will be created, guys. Okay, the real HTML code will be created later. First the design, okay, the design, how the page should look like, where the element should be there, okay, what should be the color, which element should be focused, okay, which screen look and feel is good. All these aspects comes into user experience. That is how the user is going to experience the page, and also at the same time how the user is driven by the page. Okay, all the psychology of the user, like based on the psychology of the user and all, the pages will be designed first. Okay, the screens will be designed first before the actual user interface. That is, user interface means that using the HTML code, developing the web elements like buttons and all those things. The code will not be written first, guys. Okay, first user experience, the designs of the pages or screens will be created first. Later, once this user experience screens which are designed are approved, then for each and every element that is specified on that UX screens and all, right, the UI will be developed. That means the HTML code will be developed for all the elements on the page, and real pages will be created later. Okay, real pages having the user interface code written will be created later. So UX comes first. Fine. So for example, if I go with this Amazon.com, okay, Amazon.com, here, if I right click on the search button and inspect this, You see the HTML code for this search button is already written, like input ID is equal to and all. The HTML code for this button is already written, and it has a bag. CSS properties are also specified and all. Okay, this HTML and CSS come later, guys. Okay, the user interface of this particular UI element is created later. The HTML code and CSS code has been written for this element later. Before, a dummy screen which actually contains all these buttons and all with these colors and all will be designed by the UX engineers. Okay, a kind of category of people, guys. Okay, that exists in the companies like UX people. Okay, they design the screens first. Okay, they'll not develop or write any HTML code, but they are like about the user experience, like which screens will make these pages look and feel good, and based on the psychology of the users, how the users are going to use applications and all those things. User experience guys will think and create the design screens first. Later the UI developers will come into picture, and for each and every element that is mentioned on this screen, okay, the actual HTML code and CSS code will be written so that this will become interactable, or we can interface with these user elements. Okay, so what comes first, guys? First UX comes first. Okay, so that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 383. That is, in which level of software testing UX is tested more? Let me answer. So in which level of software testing UX is tested more? UX means user experience. That is, in the presentation layer of the application, we have UI and UX. UI means user interface. Okay, how you are interacting with the graphical user interface elements on the application, that falls into UX guys, UI guys. Okay, but UX means experience. Okay, it deals with the experience of the user, like how the user is experiencing the presentation layer. Okay, whether the user is according to the psychology of the end users who are going to use the application, whether the application is presenting all the elements on the pages well or not, the order or the place at which the U elements on the page are properly ordered, the color combinations, okay, the look and feel of the application, whether the application is driving the end users in a proper way because of all this organizing of the elements or the presentation of the elements with different colors and the right colors and all those stuff. Okay, that falls into user experience, guys. Okay, UI means user interface, the way in which you are interacting with the element, the HTML code, CSS code that you write. But UX means it's a psychology. Psychologically, which color suits that particular button? Okay, end users are liking which color of the button. Okay, if you put orange color, then whether the users are able to focus on that element or not. For example, if I take you to this particular page, guys, Amazon.com. Okay, there are several elements on this page, guys. Okay, which are built using the UI. Okay, you can call this as a UI element. Okay, HTML, CSS are used for building these elements. That's okay. But coming to user experience, it deals with the experience. Okay, user experience, how the user is going to experience this particular UI element, that layer, guys. Okay, that thing of the presentation layer. Okay, according to the psychology of the users, which color will you see? If it is a dark red color, okay, a very dark red color, what the users will feel? Okay, why this the application doesn't look good for them? Because dark red color does, no one likes dark red color here, right? They don't want to click on this search button if this color, background color, is in a dark red color, in blood color. Okay, like our blood color. Okay, we don't like that. Okay, so pleasant colors should be there. Okay, which users should feel, experience should. You see Amazon logo has this orange, so what they have done to improve the user experience, to improve their brand value, at the same time they whatever the important elements on this page, right, they gave the color as orange color background. Here you see, for the cart item, how many items are there in the cart? Only the items in the cart, you see, remaining is in white and the other one is in orange color. Okay, if one element is added to the cart, you see the focus items are provided in orange color here. This is what is called as experience, guys. Here it's not about building these UI elements, it's all about like how the user is going to experience these elements on the page, and whether this focus of the user is being taken or not. Does the user feel any disturbance while looking at this page? All this comes into user experience. Hope you got an idea what exactly user experience is. But in which layer or in which level of the software testing, okay, in which level of the software testing UX, that is user experience of the presentation layer of the application, is tested more? The simple and straightforward answer for this question is in acceptance testing level of the software testing. There are different levels of software testing. The last level of software testing is acceptance testing. The acceptance testing level, you can also call it as user acceptance testing level of software testing. The UX of the application page is tested more. Okay, there are 4 levels of software testing, guys. The first 2 levels are unit testing, integration testing. These 2 levels, they fall into the white box testing category, where the developers will be performing the most of the time developers will be performing the unit testing and integration testing, where the unit piece of the code or integrated pieces of the unit code will be tested at the code level by the developers. Okay, by the developers will do this. Okay, coming to system testing, once this unit testing and integration testing is done, once the entire application is integrated together, okay, all the components of the application are integrated as a complete application, the complete application will be built and given to the testers for testing. Like a built means in the exe file format. If it is a desktop application, it is a .exe file for Windows, or if it is a web application, the URL of the application will be given to the testers for testing, like that. Okay, once the testers will receive this URL or exe file or APK file, if it case of mobile application, right? Okay, once the software testers, they will perform the system testing in this layer, in this level. In this level, software testers will perform the system testing, where they will be testing the entire application as a whole. Okay, using the user interface of the software. The code will be running in the background, guys. This falls into the black box testing category. Okay, the software testers will not be able to see the code that is written for building this application. Okay, so but here main point is the software testers will focus in system testing is whether the application that is developed by the developers is developed according to the client given or specified requirements or not. Okay, requirements are given more focus, and UX and client user end user needs and expectations. Okay, UX and end user needs and expectations are given less priority in this case. The software testers will give some priority to UX and end users needs and expectations along with the client given requirements or specifications. But the main focus will be on the client given requirements or specifications rather than on UX or end user needs and expectations. Okay, but coming to the last level of software testing, that is acceptance testing or user acceptance testing, the more focus, okay, the ultimate focus will be given to the end user needs and expectations. Indirectly, UX also will be tested more here in the last level of here. Software testers will not be performing the acceptance testing. Okay, in acceptance testing, software testers are not performing this acceptance testing. Rather, who is performing? I'll explain. Okay, whoever is performing the acceptance testing, the UX is taken into consideration, user needs and expectations are taken into consideration, requirements are given less priority over user needs and expectations and UX of the application. Okay, here UX is tested more in acceptance testing. If to understand who is performing the acceptance testing, that is the last level of the software testing, we have to divide the user acceptance testing or acceptance testing into 2 types, that is alpha testing and beta testing. Alpha testing is generally done by the client side business people who has a good knowledge of the business knowledge of the application, and who generally interact with the end users or customers. Okay, real customers. Such kind of people will come up with a checklist. The client side business people will come up with a checklist of what are the required user needs and experience, user needs and expectations of the end users, and what is the user experience that end users are expecting. Such kind of checklist they will come up, and they will travel to the developer side, and where the developers are actually developing the software, they'll go to the developers, and they will right, make the developers develop the software and modify the software. Okay, which is already system testing is done and completed. The stable software, what they will do is they will ask the developers to do the modifications according to the user needs and expectations and user experience. Okay, that is alpha testing, guys. Once alpha testing is done, still the acceptance testing will not be over. Next level of acceptance testing, that beta testing will be done, where the client, the company behind this software, okay, who is developing, who is getting this software developed, right, will be releasing the software into the market. Okay, will be releasing the software into the market, not with an intention of selling purpose, rather to indirectly collect the feedback from the users or customers. Okay, as a beta release they will release, instead of final, before final release happen, as a beta release they will release the software into the market, and indirectly, while the end users are using the analytics or whatever is, by interacting with them or by collecting the feedback in different forms or forums, whatever that is, they will collect a lot of feedback from the real end users and customers. Okay, and they will collect the feedback. The feedback will contain user needs and expectations and user experience related things will be there. Those feedback will be incorporated into the software with the help of developers, and testers will be testing them. Okay, so Here, end users will be performing the beta testing indirectly, whereas alpha testing, client side business people will be performing the uh, acceptance testing indirectly. Okay, testing indirectly. Okay, fine. So ultimately, just to conclude, guys, in which level of software testing UX is tested more? Acceptance testing, that is user acceptance testing level of software testing. This acceptance testing or UX is tested more, guys. Okay. So hope guys you got the answer for this question. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to answer software testing interview question 384. That is how to differentiate a performance defect or a UI defect, or whether it is a UX defect or whether it is a code API level defect. Okay, you may get a defect, guys. Okay, you may identify a defect in the software, but to which category the defect belongs to, whether that particular defect that you identified belongs to performance category or it is caused due to the UI. Okay, there is a problem in the UI, but that's the reason the defect has come, or the user experience related defect, or the problem is there at the API layer. Okay, that is code API defect. So how to differentiate a defect and how to make sure that it falls into any of these categories. So that's what I'm going to explain in this session. For this, I'm going to use an example, guys. Okay, I'm going to give an example so that you can understand and differentiate what is a performance defect. Okay, once you get a defect, whether it is a performance or UI or UX or code API, okay, you can find it out. Okay, for example, guys, okay, I'll take you to this Amazon.com page. So let's say when you load Amazon.com, let's say this search icon is there, right? Or search button or whatever you can call this. Okay, this UI element is coming. Let's say this UI element is not immediately coming. Okay, after some time, after a lot of time, after all the elements are appeared at the end, if you are getting this particular search UI option, okay, but it is coming with a delay, guys. Okay, or it's coming with a delay, or sometimes it's not coming also. Okay, in some cases this such option is not coming yet. Okay, or in sometimes it is taking time to display this particular thing. In that case, the problem is with the performance. Okay, it's not a problem of the UI, guys. Okay, UI is proper only. Okay, the HTML code that is developed for building this for developing this particular search functionality option, and the CSS used and everything is fine. But thing is, when you open this application, since many users simultaneously are using this Amazon.com, there may be a possibility where if there is a performance problem in this application, which is unable to handle the user load or whatever it is, because of that situations, okay, you may get this option with a delay, or sometimes the option may not come. That is a performance defect. Okay, then you can consider the defect as a performance defect. It's not a UI defect. A lot of people, they get confused. If this option is not coming, they will report the defect as a UI defect. On the UI, the search option is not coming, they will report. That is not the correct thing. Okay, the defect may be because of performance. Okay, with a delay this option is coming, or the option is not at all coming because of the performance problems. So you have to consider the defect into and push the defect into the performance category. Okay, when you can call a defect as a UI related defect, you see maybe the font problem. Okay, this search icon which is displayed on the search option is more than its size, or the alignment is not proper. This the option is coming, the UI element is coming, but you see the alignment of the search option along with this particular text box field or these options is not proper. Okay, it's up and down or something, and it's kind of distorted where you see it's kind of blurred or whatever it is. Okay, such kind of things, you can consider as a UI defect. Oh, okay, on this UI element, if there are any spelling mistakes, if in case this particular doesn't apply for the spelling mistakes, if there are any spelling mistakes or the text is going outside this element, then you can consider the defect as a UI defect. Okay, the HTML code or CSS stylings that are applied to this particular defect are not properly done, so that is a UI defect. Okay, it's coming, option is coming, but with some UI related problems, graphical user interface problems, like wrong color has come, or wrong icon has come, or text is going outside, overlapping is there. So very big checklist is there for the UI defect. Then the next one is UX defect. UI and UI and UX are both are different, guys. UI stands for user interface, whereas UX stands for user experience. Okay, the UI is not a problem, the performance is not problem, but users are not using it, or users experience wise, experience of the users, according to the psychology of the users, they are unable to focus. They are just searching on the page. Where exactly is this search option? Okay, they're unable to find it out, or they are unable to find out this how many items are added to the cart. Okay, so here if you see Amazon.com, the search option and this zero are highlighted. They are highlighted in orange color, and which is orange color is the main part of this Amazon logo, as you can see here. Whatever the important things they are highlighting in orange color. So here user has an experience that this is important and this is important. What elements are there in the cart, and which option I have to use for search for the elements. Okay. So it's like it's a part of experience. For example, if I go to one of the screen and okay, what are coming here? Okay, different options are coming here. That's okay. Maybe you see this particular image is also having some portion of orange color, and when this kind of image is there and here also orange is there, you may report an user experience defect saying that when this particular image is displayed, the user is unable to focus on the search option. The UI is correct. The HTML code written and CSS is correct, and it's loading very fast. Okay, the option is coming fast, but the problem is related to the experience when the user is on this page and when this image is displayed with the search option, right? The user is unable to focus on the search option. Okay, the focus is more on this image rather than the search option. But ultimately, as part of the psychology of the users or as per the required behavior of the users should focus on the search option. In that case, you can report an user experience defect. Okay, it's all about experience. How better the users are able to experience the application while using. Okay, there is no UI defect, but experience wise, it can be made better. It can be in a proper position or proper color. Maybe this image color can be changed according to the psychology of the users. Maybe different image can be used here. Oh, that can be the UI related, UX related, user experience related. Okay. So in the previous sessions also of this video series, I explained about the difference between UI and UX. You can refer that if you want to get more idea than what I explained in this session. So last one is code API defect. You see, the problem is there is no problem with the UI, there is no problem with the UX, there is no problem with the performance. But the problem is when I click on this button, the search is not happening. When I click on this button, here search functionality is working, right? Some search results are coming. But when you click on this button, search button, when I click on this button, nothing is happening. Okay, this option is not working. Some people may think that, okay, there is a UI defect, so I am unable to, when I click on that, that is not coming. But ultimately, what happens when you click on the button? This option, when you click on this option, what happens? In the background, an API call will be made to the server. Okay, in the background, an API request will be sent to the server, and on the server, whatever the web service code related to this search option is there, right? That code will run, and that code after running, it will contact the database will retrieve the data that need to be displayed on the page, whatever the product details, names and all, and it will send it back to the server, and server will process the request and send it back to the client, and our browser will be able to render all the search results here. Okay, whatever the term I provide here, okay, that will be sent along with the request, API request. When I click on this button to the server will process the request and send the response according to the, for example, if I am searching for laptop here, okay, and click on the search button. If search button is working here, all the list of laptops are coming because, okay, this laptop term is traveling along with the request to the server is processing that appropriate code, application code that is running in the server, and that code will reach the database, and database will display all this database will give you all these items back to the server, and server will send a proper response in HTML, CSS, JavaScript format and send it back to the client. Then the client side, that is my laptop or something, the browser will render this the received response, okay, and display the appropriate results in the search results page. This is what happens. But if you click on the search button, okay, the UI is good, the user experience is good, the this option came on time. But the problem is this option is, when I click on this option, it is not working. So then you have to see, inspect this option and see, inspect this option and go to the network tab, guys, and clear the stuff, and go to network tab, clear this stuff, and click on this and see if any request, this kind of request is going or not. Let's see. Okay, you see with the laptop thing, a request is being sent to the server, whether this request is happening or not. If it is not happening, the defect falls into the code API, code level defect or API level defect. Okay, the button is there, but functionality is not working. Okay, so that is related to the API, guys. Okay, API, you can categorize the defect into the code API. So hope guys you understood what is the difference between a performance defect, UI defect, UX defect, and code API level defect in this session. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 385. That is, HTTP protocol runs on which port number? Let me answer. So HTTP protocol runs on which port number? It runs on port number 80. Okay. It runs on which port number? It runs on port number 80, guys. Okay. So remember this. So what exactly is a port number? Okay. What exactly is a port number? Let me explain that first. Okay. So you should have some basic knowledge of what is a port number and all, guys. Okay. So let's say there is a computer machine. Okay. So in this computer, different softwares will run on different port numbers. Okay, let's assume that this computer is like a hotel in real world. Okay, so in a hotel, what will happen, guys? If you go to a hotel, what will be there? You can book a room there. Okay, there will be a lot of rooms. There will be a lot of rooms here. So all the guests who will be visiting this particular hotel will not be staying in the single place. Rather, this hotel will contain lot of rooms. Okay, and each and every room will have a number like 101, okay, 302, 506, like that's of different numbers will be there for these rooms. And the guests who check into this hotel will check into one of the room numbers, not the entire hotel. Same way, if there is a computer here, okay, in this computer, not all softwares will run on the complete computer. Rather, there is some concept known as port numbers. For example, if you talk about Jenkins software, Jenkins software runs on a port number known as 8080. Okay, in this computer machine, okay, in one of the port number known as 8080, the Jenkins software will run. Okay, Jenkins software runs on the port number 8080. So similarly, this HTTP protocol uses port number 80. So when HTTP is like used for internet, right? The internet protocol, okay? The internet protocol, the web protocol known as HTTP runs on which port number? Which slot of this computer machine? Which port of this computer machine? 80. 80 slot of this 80 port of the computer machine. That's what. Okay, let's not dig more into that. Okay, just at a high level, you should have a knowledge of what is port and in which port number this HTTP protocol operates. Okay, that you have to know at a higher level. But this HTTP protocol is an insecure one. Okay, it's an insecure one, guys. Okay, so what happens? You see here. Let me explain some more things here about the HTTP protocol. Let's say this is your laptop and this is your server machine. Okay, in your computer or laptop, you opened a browser, let's say Chrome browser, and you opened one application. Okay, let's say tutorials Ninja application you opened. Okay, I'll also open this application. Let's say this is my laptop. Assume that this is a laptop, right? This is a laptop. Okay, in my laptop, in the Chrome browser, I'm opening an application known as Tutorials Ninja. Okay, tutorialsninja.com/demo application I opened here in the browser. So this application is a not secured one. You see, is an insecure application, not secure. So what is the protocol that is there? When I copy paste this URL in the new tab, you see HTTP protocol it is using, which is an insecure protocol. Okay, insecure communication between client and server will happen. What is mean by insecure communication between client and server? This laptop that I'm opening this application using the HTTP protocol, right? Okay, whenever you perform some operations on this application, the request will be sent to the server. The server may be I'm in Hyderabad, guys. Hyderabad, India. Okay, I'm in Hyderabad, India. But the request will be traveled over internet. Okay, because that's the reason HTTP protocol is used, guys. Okay, the purpose of the HTTP protocol is to transfer the request over the internet. Over the internet, the request will be transferred from the client your laptop. It may be in Hyderabad, India, and the server machine maybe is in Singapore. Okay, let's say Singapore in remote place. This in Singapore, the server machine is there. Okay, this is Tutorials Ninja server. Okay, so I'm saying here, if an application is using, if an application URL is using HTTP protocol, okay, that stands for insecure communication between client and server. Here, what is a client and what is a server? This is a client and this is a server, and the communication which is happening over the HTTP protocol, which is running on the port number 80. Okay, port number 80, guys. Okay, the request is happening in an insecure manner. Insecure manner. What does it mean? What does it mean is, for example, here in this application, if you are entering some sensitive information like password or credit card details, okay, credit card information. If you are passing some sensitive information like password, credit card information, or any other kind of sensitive information or normal information also, guys, this information, if I give password as 12345, here if I give password as 12345, over this request, same data without converting, the same 12345 will travel over this request and will be sent to the server. Server also will receive the 12345. During the transit, the original number is being transferred, original password is being shown here. So what happens is, nowadays there are a lot of tools that hackers can use where they can intercept. That means they can come in between and they can listen or view whatever the data that is being transferred between client and server. Before this data reaches the server, okay, these hackers, okay, use some tools using which they can get this password. They can get this credit card information if it is passed, because data is passed as it is. Okay, if 12345 need to be passed from the browser, from the application, the same 12345 is available during the transit also, during the traveling also, same 12345 is there. So it's very easy for the hacker to hack it and get this sensitive information and utilize it for wrong purpose. Okay, so that is the problem with the HTTP protocol, guys. Okay, which runs on the port number 80. If an application is using this HTTP protocol like tutorialsninja.com/demo, that means be sure that whatever the information you are providing, okay, and that is being traveling to the server over the internet over the HTTP protocol is can be hacked, can be viewed by the hacker, okay, by using some tools. We should not go in depth regarding like what kind of tools and all, that is out of topic for us. Okay, so that you have to remember. So don't worry, guys, this application doesn't collect any sensitive information of yours like a credit card or whatever it is, so you can feel free to use this application for normal purposes. Okay, so this is a dummy application. Okay, but it is a HTTP protocol which runs on the port number 80. Insecure communication is happening between the client and server. Why? Because there is no security certificate. Okay, so here this application is using protocol known as HTTP protocol. Why? Why it is HTTP protocol? Because there is no certificate here. There is no certificate. You see, if I click on this, your connection to the server is not secured. There is no particular. You should not enter any sensitive information on this website like credit card informations or passwords. If you enter them, right, they can be stolen by attacker during the transit. Learn more. Learn more. Okay, learn more. If you say learn more, okay, so it's not secured and all. Okay, here you are not getting not secured and what else, let's see how you see certificate is required, it is saying. Okay, since there is no certificate for this particular application, this application is not using any security certificate. Okay, security certificate is not used by this application. That's the reason. Okay, it's not secured. The information during the traveling can be viewed by the hacker. Okay, can be accessed by the hacker. If you are passing some sensitive information, it will be you will be in trouble. Okay, so and how this can be overcome, how this problem can be overcome. If I as part of if I am the developer of this application, right, I have access to this uh, the server machine where this application is hosted. What I will do in the server machine is, here whatever the server machine is there here, right, in this server machine I will install a security certificate. Okay, I'll install a security certificate. Okay, like security certificates are SSLT TLS, like that some different names are there, guys. I don't want to go deep into that topic. If you install the security certificates, what happens is ultimately this not secured symbol will go off and you will get a lock icon here. For example, if I take you to amazon.com here, if I take you to the amazon.com, just see here, you're getting a lock symbol. That means this is secured. Okay. Click on this. You see there is a connection is secured. Because why it is secured? Because there is some certificate installed. Okay. You see certificate is valid is coming here itself. Okay. Connection is secured. You see certificate is valid. This amazon.com is using a certificate, secured certificate, because of which it's not using HTTP protocol, it's using HTTPS protocol. Because of the certificate, HTTP will get converted to HTTPS, okay, which is a secured protocol. Okay, but HTTP protocol which runs on the port number is an insecure protocol where communication between client and server is insecure, and at the same time there is no certificate. If there is certificate, ultimately it is not HTTP protocol. Okay, and here what's happening? No encryption or decryption, guys, during the transit, right? This 1 2 3 4 5 passport or the credit card number are sent as it is during the transit, so that hacker can easily get the data. Okay, it's not converted encoding. I mean, encryption decryption is not happening. Encryption means the original number need to be converted to some other, let's say XYZ, instead of 1 2 3 4 5 XY 1 2 4 1 3, like that some other code will be sent instead of the original code. The encryption will happen and some other code, even though the hacker gets this code, that will be wrong, right? That is not the real password. Okay, the real password is 1 2 3 4 5. Again here at the server side, it will be decrypted. That means this XY143 or 13 will get converted back to 1 2 3 4 5. That is called as decryption. Okay, that encryption and decryption happens only if you have a secure certificate. Otherwise, it will not happen. In HTTP case, encryption and decryption are not available and it runs on the port number 80. So hope guys you got what is HTTP protocol and where it runs. The simple answer for this question is port number 80, guys. Okay. So HTTP protocol runs on which port number? 80 protocol. That's it. Okay. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all. Welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer software testing interview question 386. That is, HTTPS protocol runs on which port number? That is a question. Okay, let me answer. HTTPS protocol runs on which port number? It runs on 443 port number. In the previous session or in the previous video, I was explaining about HTTP protocol, not HTTPS. In this session, HTTPS. HTTP protocol was running on port 80, whereas HTTPS protocol runs on port 443. Okay. So this is a basic question that you generally get in the interviews, guys. Suddenly the interviewer will ask you, what is the port number on which HTTPS protocol runs on? You have to simply answer by saying it runs on the port number 443. Okay. So if you want to know more about what is a port number, what is port means and all, I have explained that in the previous video, guys. You can go to the previous video where you can understand what exactly is port. But HTTPS protocol runs on the port number 443, where the communication between the client and server via this protocol happens over a secure layer. Okay, secure communication between client and server. Here certificate is installed and encryption or decryption, okay, will happen. What does it mean? Here, guys, earlier it was HTTP protocol which was running on 80 port number. Whatever the data that I was sending from the client machine, that is my laptop, I was browsing the application in the browser, and this password I was actually entering the password. The data is sent as it is without encrypting. As it is, the data is being transited, okay, to the server over the internet via the HTTP protocol, which is running on port number 80. Okay, in an insecure manner. Here, the hacker, okay, hacker can eavesdrop. Eavesdrop means they can hacker using some tools, right? They can find out like what's the data that is traveling between this client and server machine. They can find out your password, sensitive information, not only password, any credit card information, whatever that is happening, transferring over this HTTP protocol, which is insecure transit, guys. It is an insecure layer of transit where whatever the data that is being sent as it is being sent to the server. There is without any encryption or decryption. Hence, the hacker can eavesdrop and get this data, sensitive data, and take the advantage of that. Okay. But coming to the HTTPS, if you talk about instead of HTTP, if the request is happening over HTTPS, the protocol is, what is the port number? The protocol is HTTPS, but what is the port number of this protocol? Protocol runs on 443, guys. Okay, 443 as mentioned here, it is 443. HTTP runs on 80, whereas HTTPS runs on 443 protocol, and here it is a secured manner. Why it's a secured manner, I'll tell you. Okay, so HTTPS means here S stands for secured, guys. Okay, here S stands for secured. Okay, I'll explain. S is not really stands for secured, guys. That's not how this HTTPS got the name. But S at a high level stands for secured. But if we dig deep, it is all about certificates, guys. Okay, it's all about certificates. S is a SSL. Okay, secured socket layer. Okay, and this protocol runs on 443 port number, and the transit will happen in a secured manner where this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will not be sent as it is. It will be encrypted here. Okay, before it is being sent to the server, at the client side, it will be encrypted. Client side, it will be encrypted. Encrypted means instead of sending 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it will be converted something like this, AX, like this. Okay, AX. No one can understand what is this. Okay, so now the hacker tries to eavesdrop and get this AX331 LX or whatever it is, okay, and try to use that as a password. The hacker will not be successful because this is not the actual password. It is an encrypted one, okay. This is the original password. It got encrypted like this. Now, when this data that is transited here over HTTPS protocol, that is 443 port number and all, in a secured manner, right? It reaches the server will decrypt it, okay. It will be decrypted at the encrypted at the client side, decrypted at the server side, back to the original data. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be this AX33LX will be converted back to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again, and server will be able to process. And hacker will get a wrong misinformation here, wrong password here. Okay, so a hacker will try to decrypt. Okay, hacker will still try to decrypt, and you see, lot of it's not a simple thing to decrypt, guys. It may take years of time. Okay, so we are making the life of the hacker a bit hard, so that we are making the hacker life bit hard by not allowing the hacker to decrypt so easily. Okay, or not eavesdrop and just find the information as it is and utilize it. Okay, we are making the life of the hacker a bit difficult. Okay, so port number 443, secure communication between client and server, because security certificate is there. Okay, security certificate is installed, guys. Okay, for example, if I take you to this application, guys, tutorials Ninja application, here there is no certificate. Okay, it is HTTP protocol, guys, which runs on the port number 80. Okay, this is HTTP protocol, guys. This is HTTP protocol. This application is using HTTP protocol, means there it is not secured. You see the website itself, the browser itself saying that this application is not secure. Don't provide any sensitive information like password or uh, your personal information or any sensitive data like credit card details and all. You don't provide on this website. Okay, like that the browser is saying. Okay, and when you click on that, you see, click on that, here learn more option is coming, and if you will be taken to this page, it's clearly saying at the end that there is no security certificate installed, okay, for this website, and hence the encryption and decryption will not happen. Without security certificate, the encryption and decryption will not happen. But if I take you to this website like amazon.com, if I take you to this website like amazon.com here and click on this icon, this pad symbol here, which stands for secured, you see connection is secured. Click on that. Certificate is valid, it is saying. Okay, this website is using some certificate. Okay, click on the certificate. All the certificate details are coming. So this company is issuing this certificate, and because of this certificate here, over the transit, while the client and server are communicating, the communication will happen over a secured layer where encryption and decryption will happen. Client side encryption will happen, and server side decryption will happen using the private and public keys and so on. Okay, if you keep on digging deep right into the security, a lot of terms will come up. Okay, so that's what is the case, guys. Here security certificate is installed as I showed you, and the port number for HTTPS protocol is 443. Okay, encryption or decryption will happen. Encryption will happen at the client side. Decryption will happen at the server side. Okay, so hope guys you understood what on which port number this HTTPS protocol runs on in this session, that is 443. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to answer software testing interview question 387. That is, what is this S in HTTPS stands for? As you can see here, HTTPS HTTPS. What does this letter S in HTTPS stands for is a question. Let me answer. So what is the letter S in HTTPS protocol stands for? So a lot of people may be thinking that in simple terms, S stands for security. Okay. When you compare HTTPS protocol with HTTP protocol, what is the difference? Security. HTTP protocol doesn't have the security. Okay. Right. This is what happens, right? In general, if you are using the HTTP protocol, if your web application, whatever the web application, let's say this is your laptop. Okay. Let's say this is your laptop, guys. In your laptop, you opened one browser, say Chrome browser or whatever the browser. In that browser, you opened one application URL which is using HTTP protocol, http:// like this. Okay, tutorials ninja.com/one application, demo application I'm taking. Okay, so this is your laptop. You can also call that as a client. The moment you perform any operations on this application, right? What happens? The request will be sent to the server. A request will be sent to the server. This is a request. Over what this request will be sent to the server? Over the internet, over the web. Okay, over the internet, using this HTTP protocol which runs on the port 80, will send a request to the server. Okay, so here this is a Tutorials Ninja server. Tutorials Ninja server. Okay, where the actual code of the application is available here. Where the actual code of the Tutorials Ninja application is written in some programming language like Java, Python, C#, etc. Okay. Fine. Now, this is a server, this is a client, and this laptop is maybe in one location. Let's say my laptop is in Hyderabad, India at this moment, but this server machine may be in Singapore. But how this operations that you are performing on this application are happening? Because the moment you are performing the operations on this application, every time the requests are being different type of requests are being sent to this server in the Singapore over internet so fast, and the server is giving you some response. Okay, in back, as a result, server is giving you processing, running some code or web service, whatever it is you can call, and it's giving you a response back over the same internet. Okay, this request and response in case of HTTP, okay, are happening over in an insecure manner, or happening in a secured manner. That means, let's say here, for one of the reason, you entered username, email address, and password in order to log into the application. Here, password is a sensitive thing. Here, in this example, when you are trying to log into this application, your password is a sensitive thing that no other person should know other than this particular user who is trying to log into the application, right? So this password, for example, this password is 12345. In this case, what happens is, over the internet, okay, whenever you click on the login button, the moment you click on the login button, this email address password will be sent along with this request over the internet in an insecure manner. Means, as it is, it will be sent. 12345 will be sent as it is, and server will receive 12345. That's fine. But the problem here is, while this 12345 password, which is a sensitive information, is in transit during this request, okay, the hackers can do eavesdrop. We generally call that as eavesdrop, means listening. Okay, they can listen to whatever the communication that is happening between the client and server. Hackers will use some kind of different tools, right, which can intercept this request and can capture this data. If the hacker is able to capture this data, hacker will come to know about your email address and password, and right, will take advantage of your login. Not only email address, password, guys. For example, if you are doing some operation on this application where you are submitting the credit card details, details and other last three digits, right, security pins and all those stuff, all this will be transmitted as it is over HTTP. Okay, as it is, they will be transmitted. Here, no encryption, no decryption. Here, no security, guys. No encryption, no decryption. Okay, so that's the problem with HTTP. Okay, that's the problem with HTTP. If I take you an example for HTTP, here is an example, guys. For example, this is tutorialsninja.com/demo, which is not secured, not secured, right? Okay. So here, if I copy this URL here, why it is not secured? Because it is using which protocol? HTTP protocol. Okay, which transmits the data, that is request and responses, which are communication happening between the client and server, is happening over insecure manner. It is happening where the data is sent as it is, and hacker is able to grab the data. Okay, eavesdrop and grab the data. But if you go with some other applications like Amazon.com, etc., if you go to this Amazon.com, you will see a pad symbol here. It's the browser is now not saying anything as not secured here like the previous application, but here the browser is showing a pad icon. Click on the pad icon, connection is secure, it is saying click on that, certificate is there, it's saying the connection is secured. Okay, and certificate is there here. Okay, all these things will be clear for you. In the previous sessions also I covered all this stuff, but let me cover this. Okay, so here if you have a client, again the laptop, and here we have the server, and if you are accessing amazon.com in one of the browser, let's say Chrome browser or whatever it is. Okay, amazon.com. Okay, this is HTTPS, right? HTTPS. Okay, which runs on the port number 443. This is your laptop. Okay, we can call your my lap. Let's say my laptop. We can call it as a client. Okay, your browser which is browsing this secured application, right, is a client. Okay, request will be sent, response will be sent. But here, what's the difference? Here also server is there. Okay, Amazon server is there at different location, at remote location. Amazon server. The code of this Amazon application is available here. That's fine. Okay, the request will hit the appropriate code and code will run. But here request and responses are happening over a secured layer. Okay, that is HTTPS. Here everyone thinks that S stands for secured. That's why the communication between the client and server is happening over the secured layer. And they will think that S stands for secured. They think a lot of people think that S stands for secured. But how did the name HTTPS came? Is a different thing, guys. Okay. Anyhow, the concept is all about security. It is secured and all. Here, how the security happens is encryption and decryption. Encryption and decryption, guys. Okay. Via the encryption and decryption, the security happens. For example, here you are trying to log in using, you give some email address and you give some password. What happens in case of HTTPS is, let's say password is 1235455, 12345, for example. This 12345 will not be sent as it is. Okay. It will be encrypted, guys. So during the transit, okay, during the transit that is communicating to the server, 12345 will be converted to some other thing like this. Okay. That no one will understand. Okay. What is this? So even though if the hacker tries to eavesdrop, okay, this particular information, okay, the hacker will not be able to decrypt this particular thing so easily. Okay, the hacker will not be able to decrypt, convert this back to the 12345. Hacker will believe that this is a password, but email and password, and but hacker will not be able to use it because this is not the real password or real email. Okay, and it got encrypted into some format. Okay, even email also will be encrypted, password also will be encrypted. So, but hacker in order to get the actual password need to decrypt it, but server only can decrypt. Okay, so here at the server side we have the decryption. We have private and public keys using which encryption and decryption will happen. Okay, this is a case of HTTPS. But here everyone thinks because of this encryption decryption using HTTPS, S stands for secured. Everyone thinks, but S stands for security is not 100% true, guys. Okay, this is what is the thing. If you go to the if anyone in the interview asks you like what S in HTTPS stands for, immediately a lot of people will answer saying that S stands for security. Okay, but that is not the 100% answer. So though the meaning is indirectly come as security, but it's not the S stands. S is not actually means for security, guys. S is security, but it's not really security. Okay, so S came from this certificate known as SSL certificate. Okay, earlier days, guys. Okay, not now. Earlier days when HTTP kind of applications got transferred into the HTTPS kind of applications, where HTTPS protocol was said as secured, right? So to make that protocol convert from HTTP to HTTPS, okay, the application developers used to install SSL certificate in the server. The server, they have to install a certificate known as which certificate for olden applications, not latest applications. In the olden applications, they have to install a certificate known as SSL certificate. Okay, these certificates will be sold by the different companies, guys. There are different companies which are selling these SSL certificates. What these SSL certificates will do, for example, here, when I click on this pad icon, connection is secured. There is certificate, right? Certificate is valid. So in the olden application, not in now Amazon is not using that SSL. Okay, this certificate is not SSL anyhow. This is the latest certificate. Olden days, when the applications used to be there, the certificate SSL was enough. Okay, it was way secured at that time. Okay, so what they have done is they have made HTTPS is equal to, here is guys, okay, there is missing. HTTPS is equal to HTTP plus SSL. They thought like this, but everyone thought S stands for security. Okay, actual reason why S came here in HTTPS is S stands for SSL, guys. Okay, secured socket layer. S stands for what? SSL stands for secured socket layer. Okay, so since the secured socket layer is starting with S, so they converted HTTP to HTTPS, but everyone thought that S is security. That is not 100% true, guys. S stands for SSL. SSL means Secure Socket Layer. Okay. SSL is an old type of certificate, guys, which is no longer used by any of the application websites to make them secured by installing it. Okay. Latest applications are not using it. If you use SSL means the hacker who is actually here in between, right? It is very easy for the hacker to decrypt that. Okay. The hacker, once the hacker comes to know that this encryption happened because of the SSL certificate installed at Amazon.com or something, hacker now has enough tools to decrypt it easily. Okay. So that's why the certificates keep changing. Okay. So after SSL, the latest certificate that came into the market is TLS. TLS is latest, guys. Okay, as for now, TLS 2022, TLS is latest, and in TLS also different versions are coming. 1.1, 1.2, like that version, different versions are coming. So the tools are growing with the hacker, and at the same time, the versions are increasing. These SSL, TLS, all the certificates will have some algorithms written, guys. Algorithms written which will encrypt and decrypt in such a way that it should become very difficult for the hacker to decrypt these passwords or sensitive data like credit card, etc. That's what is the purpose of the certificates, guys. Okay, so these applications like Amazon will purchase these certificates. Okay, will purchase these certificates from different sources. Like for example, this certificate is sold by Digis at Global CHG2. Okay, it's sold by that. Okay, is it an SSL or is it an SSL or TLS? I told you, right, this is the latest application, so it doesn't use SSL. But if you still want to find out, okay, certificate sec, security certificate used by websites. Okay, how to find? How to find? Like if you search here, you will get some websites, guys. How to check? There was some DG something. Okay. DG something, I'll write DG here. Let's see whether anything will come. Yeah, DigiCert. Okay, SSL certificate checker is there. Here you just give the domain name www.amazon.com as given in this example, right? Just give that and click on check server. You will get the details whether it is using a SSL certificate or TLS certificate. You see, it is using the TLS certificate, guys. Okay. Okay, TLS certificate, and you can dig deep into this, guys. Okay, you see TLS certificate, who is the company who is issuing the certificate, and all these things are coming. Okay. So TLS certificate, TLS, yes, issuer and all those stuff. Okay, fine. Like this, you can find more information about this kind of certificates used by the applications by entering into the DigiCert and all those kind of websites. Okay, but here what happened nowadays was earlier SSL, it stands for SSL, guys. Okay, so now what happened is now the latest applications are using TLS. And TLS also, I told you, right? We do have versions in TLS, TLS 1.1, 1.2, and so on. Okay. Now HTTPS is equal to the latest version of HTTPS is equal to HTTP plus TLS. Okay. But here S stands for, you can say that S stands for security in the form of certificate known as SSL or TLS. Okay. You can explain like that, guys. Okay. Don't simply straightforwardly answer saying that S stands for security. No, don't say like that. Okay. S stands for security, but with the help of certificates like SSL, TLS, the security is achieved. Okay, hence HTTPS. Here S stands for SSL actually, not security. But SSL is indirectly providing the security using encryption, decryption. But nowadays, no one is using the oldest certificate like SSL. The latest version of certificates came into picture that applications are installing to make their sites even more secure and make the life of the hacker more difficult, where the hacker should not be able to decrypt the sensitive data so easily. Okay, the latest versions, if you keep on going with the latest versions, right, it will become very difficult for the hacker to decrypt. Okay, so fine, TLS is the latest certificate. Okay, that latest applications are using. Now hope, guys, you understood what exactly is S in HTTPS stands for. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another software testing interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye.